Better watch your step. Life is chess, make your next move your best. Steps ahead, gotta be better than the rest. I don't need respect, I just want the check. You know I stay blessed. Try me, try me, try me, try me, try me. I'ma force your hand in the instant if you try me, try me, try me, try me, try me. It's all part of the plan, goddamn. I'm the king, yes I do it my way. And I'm chilling with my queen, she be right beside me. Got two bishops to my left and to her right, they vibing. And my knights taking L's, but they still riding. Check this out, okay, I'm never ever wrong. My intellect strong. Take my knight with your bishop, take your bishop with my pawn. This won't really take long before you get wrecked. Got my rook up on your neck. Oh God.
Now your ass a check.
Hey, better watch your step. Life is chess, make your next move your best. Steps ahead, gotta be better than the rest. I don't need respect, I just want to check. You know I stay blessed. Try me, try me, try me, try me, try me. I'ma really make you learn your lesson if you try me, try me, try me, try me, try me. I got the master plan. I'm the king, yes I do it my way. And I'm chilling with my queen, she be right beside me. Got two bishops to my left and to her right, they vibing. And my knights taking L's, but they still riding with perfect timing. There's no right or wrong, only real or fake. Never been a phony, no I can't relate. Take out your whole squad till there's nothing left. Got my queen on your neck, now your ass a check. Better watch your step. Life is chess, make your next move your best. Steps ahead, gotta be better than the rest. I don't need respect, I just want the check. You know I stay blessed. Try me, try me, try me, try me, try me, try me. I'ma force your hand in the instant if you try me, try me, try me, try me, try me. It's all part of the plan. I'm the king, yes I do it my way. And I'm chilling with my queen, she be right beside me. Got two bishops to my left and to her right, they vibing. And my knights taking L's, but they still riding.
Life is never changing, although I try to rearrange it. See those hate lights up in my face, and I know this sight to you is dangerous.
Whoop. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? One moment. Woo! All right, let's thank you, ladies and gentlemen, to our first official webinar of the 2022 series. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us. Whether you are, of course, watching this live or you're checking out the replay, much appreciated, okay? And I really do intend for each and every single one of you to come into, thank you, Asia, the utmost of quality from this webinar. So I will ask you periodically what you think about this. I'm going to find ways to add a little bit more in each coming webinar. I want to incrementally add it before we get to Scorpio and it gets complex. The first few signs are pretty basic, so I want to cover my bases, okay? I want to make sure I put in the top-notch quality value for you, so I really do expect nothing but the best, okay? And in that vein, please, 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 I really do look forward to your feedback. If you don't like this, let me know. Like if you think it was trash, if you, if you think I just didn't go hard enough, I can accept that criticism. I can say so far from every webinar from y'all on the other side, you've enjoyed it. And I want to keep that streak going. Okay. So I don't want to just hit you with some surface level, BS. I really want to go in, especially this, right? Because this Taurus season is unlike any other Taurus season where for the first time in a lot of y'all lives, you're going to feel it's not just comfortable to be in your own skin. That's going to be Cancer season, but you're going to stand on the values of your worth. And many of you will not be ashamed or feel bad for enforcing it. There's been a psychological passive aggressive bent almost to have you feel bad for standing up for your value, because now it's having people who felt comfortable undervaluing you be uncomfortable because you're stepping more into your true value. Okay. And unlike previous Taurus seasons where we didn't have the nodes, this is going to set the precedent to where, based on this foundation, it's only going to go up and up and up and up from here. Okay. Which is really cool. If you were to lose everything, you still have this foundation. And I'm going to somehow convince you that even if you have nothing, you have everything. I already feel like the champion of my world. Thank you. Thank you. Listen, it's already so crazy how everyone who hated on me before is wanting my love and help. Awakening the Tropicals, thank you so much. This is really one of the core themes of this Taurus season. Okay, so the reason why I call it the promised land is this is you're manifesting what has been promised you. Where were you 10 years ago? Because 10 years ago was 2012. Okay, 2012, 2013, I had just created my first YouTube channel. I had finished my initiation in Puerto Rico. I didn't realize that what I got initiated in was meant to protect me while I did the light work that I was going to go on and do. And my first channel was Clear Sight. It wasn't, this is before the Peace Dealer was even a concept. For 2 years, I was Clear Sight, doing like horoscopes and card readings. And fast forward 10 years later to where like I'm the version of myself I've dreamed of being. I'm stepping into there, This is you manifesting what has been promised you since the North Node being in Scorpio. And we know that Taurus is a land, right? So this is the promised land with Uranus and Taurus, bountiful treasures that you have to work and put the seeds in for. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the season where you're going to strike oil. It's just redundant to say because some of you already struck oil already. So this is going to be you developing that oil so much more with just greater value and quality. Remember, fixed signs are about quality. Main character energy forever, for real. Okay. Thank you, Cha Edwins. For real. You're gonna feel this to be true now more than ever. And you want to see it as a culmination which prepared us. So I present to you the Taurus Monthly Peace Report, The Promised Land. Shout out to Esco, killing the designs. Okay. This is going to definitively step you onto a platform. It's like a save spot. You're going to think of this period as a period where you're stepping onto a much more higher quality of value. The way you make a living, the amount of money you make, the amount of value you manifest, this is etching in and manifesting the culmination of everything that has gotten you to this point. Thank you, Cosmic Kitty. So keep this in mind, because one thing you may feel is the passive, aggressive negativity that comes from people who can't take advantage of your lack of self-esteem anymore. Feel free to comment a exclamation mark emoji if you feel that. because that's coming from influences that you are going to achieve full victory over. There is a certain archetype of people who you would have never expected to talk to in a certain way because they have spent their whole lives acting the part, acting that they're higher than you. But you, without acting, are going to be put in positions higher than them. Nasiha, it's nuts. The irrational nature of this jealousy and negativity is because they have spent their entire lives on the illusion of undervaluing your value. So now that you're all manifesting the true nature of it, it's unconsciously triggering the most uncomfortable sense of cognitive dissonance they've ever felt, because now their illusions aren't matching up to what you're really doing. And they're realizing that they never were that valuable. You were. Okay. Grown adults projecting on me, a 20-year-old who's basically a 30, 40-year-old in real life. For real. Exactly. So, like, this is you really not only stepping into this, but that negativity you feel is the turning point. You're feeling the status quo change. Taurus in tarot is the Hierophant, which is the status quo. What happens when what used to be status quo is no longer status quo? That disrupts everything. Uranus and Taurus, the disruptor that is unconventionally innovating status quo. Where now we have an Elon Musk disrupting Twitter, and now I'm bringing his value into the equation. Someone who can't really be bought. So I'm using him as an example, but just like he's doing that, you're doing that in your life too. Maybe not with Twitter, but like, what's your Twitter? Because this is what this season is going to, on the fixed sign of Taurus, be the land with which you harvest your entire full value. Shout out to Malaya who pulled the death card, because this transformation, by the time we step into, of course, Scorpio season, will take things to a level unparalleled. And that's what I want to really have you embrace. Right now, we're 3 degrees into Taurus. So every degree we get closer to Uranus. Ooh, and then to the North Node. I'm telling you, like, you're going to see so much exponential growth that it will scare you at first until you realize that you do this for real. And then it's just going to fill you with a sense of confidence that you'll communicate all through Gemini season. So this has been years in the making. Okay. The way people approach you after this transit, I don't know what else to say. And this could be through unlikely alliances or just coming up on extra money. That's the whole purpose of appreciation Taurus, because the negative side of this is people who start to give you attention for the wrong reasons. Mind you, now, what you're manifesting is 6 months worth of transformation that you did last November of 2021. You're manifesting that on your physical, with which you'll go back around in 6 months and do it again. So I just kind of wanted to illustrate that, because, first of all, pat yourself on the back. So many people didn't make it. I want you to think 6 months ago. Why does this feel more real now? Like it's really here and now. Thank you, Cha. Thank you, Cha. Like some of you are feeling that. You're like, what do I do? Because you've been made to feel that you have to do so much, right? Just to be valuable. And now you're realizing there's nothing for you to do. You did the work already. Rest. You're in the promised land. That doesn't mean that there isn't more work, but you're starting to realize a lot of people didn't make it. There's a lot of people who are here now who aren't really themselves. The things they believe aren't what they truly believe. They were made to believe it. The things that they're doing aren't really what they want to do. They have made belief systems, bullshit, up in their head to backwards rationalize
why they're allowing other people to puppet string what they do in their lives. And then there's you who decided to pave the path less traveled. And it wasn't easy. It was a lot of work. Like Awakening of the Tropical said, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of ridicule because people couldn't take advantage of the perks you gain from walking a regular path. They saw you building that road. It wasn't appealing to them. It weeded the people out. And so this is the first Saturn square test, okay? The Saturn square to Taurus is how much do you own your individual worth and how much are you influenced by the prospect of popularity? Because you spent this entire time building this path. Now this is your lane. Now this is your lane. Like you built it, you trademarked it. And that square is going to bring an entire mainstream through this, right? Who are you going to let through that path? I'm not saying to dictator where it's like, I own this path and no one else. But like when a whole bunch of people start to act brand new, like they didn't just ridicule you while you were building that path. Are you going to undermine your value because you want to be so accepted by other people? Or are you going to buckle down and look at the few people who actually looked out for you when that happened? Okay. Colby, thank you. Real shit. Real shit. Lily, thank you so much. I'm actually really grateful for that. And I'm grateful to see all y'all here too. Asia, I could cry. And that's that before I really move forward, I really want to like exemplify that. Like it's before now and after now. Like, congratulations. You've made it past the Aries season finish line. A lot of people didn't even make it past that Pluto square. And you have people who really died too. So, like, congratulations. Uranus and Sag, Uranus and Scorpio, Uranus and Capricorn, especially, and heck, even Uranus and Aquarius, the level of automation, because you have built your craft, right? Libra rising to the point where now you can eat off what you do, y'all. Like it's the Saturn square is making this down to a science, okay? To the point where if you were to lose everything, if you were to lose the social media sites and the physical job locations where you currently operate from, you have this so ingrained in your mind, heart, and soul, you can repackage it, rebrand it, bring it back up, and just even if you did another field, like you gained the work ethic from it, you gained the steps. You feel me? So, congratulations. In this one season alone, you're going to manifest the totality of your worth. Uranus and Virgo, too. I didn't mention Uranus and Libra, but Uranus and Virgo is very special because unlike Uranus and Cap and Uranus and Virgo, those of you born in the 60s and in the 90s are very important because the Uranus and Cap is automating the ability to manifest with that trine. The Uranus and Virgo, you're the only ones taking it to the next level. Like that's next level ish. Like I'm not gonna lie, I want to do a documentary on that when I seen that because that's so rare. And by the time it goes into Gemini, it's on a whole nother level too. So this is where, you know, you're manifesting new money, new value, but the Uranian quality of this, now that the North Node is here, will have many of you, the Pluto, Uranus, and Virgo are the real OGs, where many of you are on the precipice of innovating Uranus and leading North Node a brand new way to manifest. And now, this is where, should y'all accept, the conjunction of Jupiter, Neptune, and Venus is expanding your imagination to believe in things before that you thought were impossible. But the level of synchronization you've had up until this point is now ready. So before I really go into this webinar, the basic level of this is that this Taurus season, you getting your money right. I promise you. Like if you had any kind of money issues, if you don't end this transit off with like $1 million or $100,000 or $1,000, That's cool because you will now have the game plan over the next 6 months to be financially independent. That is a fact. That is my promise to you. Not because of a magic genie waving their arms, but because you are taking the steps every degree of this transit to define your worth, to innovate your value, and then to plug it in the channels with which you can monetize your value. That will, with Uranus, instantly manifest returns. But if it doesn't instantly manifest returns, you are leaving Taurus season with a practical, executable game plan that, if you do the work, will work. So that by the time you harvest it, Virgo season, you are already really Virgo experiencing it. Let's go. The purpose of Taurus is to create that foundation and update and innovate that foundation. So some of you may be working 5 hours and making like $100 a day. And then after this Taurus season, you innovate the way with which you work those 5 hours. Now you only need to work 3 hours and you're making 600. There's an exaggerated quality. The reason why I say there's an exaggerated quality, okay, towards how much you're going to manifest this beanstalk is because the activating power of the North Node, the dragon's head with innovation in Uranus, is being boom, skyrocketed with Neptune and Jupiter. So this is where you're going to just plant a seed. Okay, I don't know how this book is going to do. No one even knows me like that. I'm sure it'll sell 20 copies, 20,000 copies in like 2 weeks. Okay. And it doesn't have to be 20,000, but the concept of an expansion more than you expect is what we're dealing with. Like, this is what's starting this off. So if you're in the dark, don't worry. We're going to have a new moon. By the new moon, you will be clear on what this looks like. So the basic level of this is that you're fundamentally manifesting a foundation with which you can create your own value, whether that's in a 9 to 5 job or your own business. Cool. The ultimate level of this is now you are grounding into physicality, the real nature of your supernatural abilities. Because Gemini season is going to take the charged potential of your body's ability to harness and conduct electricity through your cells so that you can now create, opposite Sag, your own magical ability. Now that you've manifested your Aries power into your Taurus body, you're going to use your brain and mind to create a new magic spell. And then Virgo season is going to be the perfection, repetition, and mastery of everything that from Gemini, Cancer, and Leo you have been practicing and literally filling through. Okay, then Libra season, you're literally sharing it to other people. So Taurus season is the first foundation that makes it real. Drip cart, I got you, bro. Thank you so much. This is very important too, because personally, in tandem to this, I want you to comment an exclamation mark or fire sign emoji, and this is key. The level of synchronization you've experienced is paramount. You'll know what I'm saying is true because you have experienced more synchronization through Pisces and Aries season than you have for the past 5 years. And the pacing of this synchronization is your spirit aligning with your body. Now that this synchronization is complete, you're manifesting it, and it's going to get Uranus Taurus super real. Your quality and capacity to ground the physical sensation of supernatural phenomena in a few short 30 days is going to rapidly and exponentially take you to literally the next level. The conjunction of Neptune and Jupiter and Pisces evolve this. And once Jupiter goes into Aries, you're starting that brand new cycle doing this. And then the reason why this is just so exciting to me, you have to get really excited, because for those of you who, this is really like, for people, this is basically what it comes down to. 10 years ago, remember 12 years ago when Jupiter went into Aries, some of you were just starting to learn what you've mastered now. Like some of you weren't that intuitive. I was one of those people. I was trash at reading tarot. Like I didn't even learn to read tarot yet. And when I started to learn tarot, I was trying to do it with my head. My Cancer sister was naturally picked it up because, you know, Cancers are psychic and intuitive. I was nervous. Like I didn't know what I was doing. Versus now, like I don't miss. I don't miss. And that's still just the first layer, right? The first layer of this was fine-tuning your psychic abilities. This next cycle is using your psychic abilities and superpowers so that you can use supernatural abilities and connect with higher beings. Okay. So the last Jupiter cycle, before we cleared the collective, those who were in the dark were winning. Did you notice? Those who were championing drug abuse, facetiousness, fakery, hopping on trends, they were winning. What you're going to notice is this Jupiter and Aries, those of you who've been putting in the work to upgrade your psychic and spiritual ability, spiritualizing your ability to breathe, and psychic your power, this is your cycle. Those people who are pushing consciousness, those people who are pushing the positive stuff that was seen as corny, that's going to be the new popularity. And those people who are pushing that too cool to be school stuff, you're going to start to see it declining rapidly in popularity. You're going to see all that karma come through because it's quality over quantity. For those of you who've been very serious about venturing beyond what's possible scientifically and supernaturally, that requires an element of consistency. And so those of you watching this, if you think over the past 10 years, yeah, you weren't the Dalai Lama meditating on a mountain, but you did the little steps. We all took little steps, step by step, in order to, as a daily practice, build our skills. The reason why I have to really accentuate this. Oh, Colby, thank you so much. I didn't even think about that. I really didn't think of it. Without water. Yeah, I didn't even. That's a huge honor. But once again, the reason why I have to say this, and you have to tap yourself on the back, because there's so many people who have an idea of spirituality that's really just more superficial. So like they didn't do the shadow work. Like there's a level to this psychic or spirituality that most people got to that they ran away from because they started to deal with visual and auditory hallucinations. They started to deal with real life demons. You saw a lot of people turn back, tuck their tail in, and start to praise Bible thump and become Christians overnight because they're not really about this path. You feel me? Like they thought that they can just come in and channel any alien they wanted to. They didn't know this don't work like that, boo boo. Like you have to actually know who you connect with, because we get spiritually attacked every day because this is a war. We don't play victim over here. We know what we signed up for. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. So like those of you who did that daily practice, those of you who went through the conflict, every single one of us had conflict that we went through. Some people ran at the first sight of conflict. Others of you went through it. So for those of you who did that daily practice, it's paying off. The neural pathways are now complete with which you can now build on that foundation, right? Kaylee, I got you. And also, on top of that, the people who didn't do that work still have the chance to, but you're going to see so much of a difference because now I'm going to give y'all a sneak peek, and I'm going to make a special video about this. 2020, 2021, 2022 was the group test. 2023, 2024, 2025 is the individual evolution. So if this resonates with you, comment a fire sign emoji. 2020, 2021, we had a group test and we failed that group test. In that group test, some of you did the work, other people didn't do the work. Okay. And we all failed the collective group test. We allowed certain people to do certain things for us and to us that we all could have overturned, right? And some of y'all did the work though, but you're realizing the hard way when you do a group test, it doesn't matter if you did the work, whoever fails, fails, right? The whole group failed. Now, get this. For those of you who did the work, here's what the teacher's doing. The teacher now, because the collective 2020 Jupiter Cap, 2021 Jupiter Aquarius, 2022 Jupiter Pisces. Now, in the next phase of this, 2023 Jupiter Aries, 2024 Jupiter Taurus individual, 2025 Jupiter Gemini individual. The teacher is going to be like, okay, I see y'all failed the group test. Show me the work individually. What did everyone do individually? This is where those of you who did the work 2020 and 2021, you failed the group test, but you can still pass the individual test. A lot of students are going to be like, oh crap, I didn't know you were going to ask to see individual work. And they're going to start to try and do work last minute. But 2023 is based Jupiter Aries on what you did Jupiter Cap. So you can't fake the funk. You did the work. Now in 2023, the teacher Jupiter Aries is going to be like, okay, you actually did the work 2020. You failed the group test, but you passed the individual. What did you do 2021? Jupiter Aqua. Well, Jupiter Taurus, we're going to see. Okay, what happened 2022? Jupiter Pisces. Well, Jupiter Gemini. See, Malaya is feeling that. For any of y'all who are feeling that, that's the caveat. Your work was not in vain because it's influencing your individuality. So with that being said, okay, a lot is going to change. A lot. Malaya, I feel you. Jupiter Cap was no joke. You see why they banned me? Listen, I've been shadow banned for so long for telling the truth. You can't even, no one can even tell. Like, so I'm not the only one. Like, there are channels with millions of subscribers getting struck, getting shadow banned too. But this is where this is all paying off. I want to make very clear before we step into this webinar. For those of you who were living in truth, you went through the difficulty first, and now past this promised land, you're going to just experience bliss. Now you're more tightly connected with other people on your path versus 10 years ago, where meeting one was like a breath of fresh air. Now we're all congregating together. Now we're all a community with which we can build. The people who faked the funk and got the clout and got the fake success, now they're going to suffer. Not because revenge. It has nothing to do with revenge. Plus, there's nothing to see. Like, wishing bad on others is not revenge. That's something bad within you. This is all objective. Because whereas you kept it real and you went through conflict and struggle to keep it real, they faked it. So by faking it, they got quick success. Now they have to take accountability for not doing that work. They took a shortcut. They cheated. Thank you. Right. So like now it's going to show. Now the period with which they're supposed to reap the work they didn't do work, they're going to suffer. Versus you who did the work, you're going to thrive. You are on the verge over the next 2 weeks to 6 months of seeing an entire status quo shift. And you're going to see power dynamics throughout the world shift. What used to be popular is not going to be popular in 6 months. What used to be unpopular for the last decade is going to be super popular. And it's going to take people 2 years to get used to it. Because at first, a lot of people are going to be in denial, but numbers don't lie. You can lie with numbers, but numbers don't lie, okay? And the quality will just going to switch. It's going to shock a lot of you, but welcome to Taurus season. So congratulations. This, you should be excited. It's shout out to Queen of Wands, ready for the switch. This switch is Taurus Gemini. You actually flip the switch Taurus, and then you experience the first change Gemini. Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Numbers don't lie. Check the scoreboard. Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Congratulations. You've activated Aries. We're manifesting Taurus, and the first change of Gemini we're coming into. So with that being said, woo, promised land, okay? The land of Canaan that was promised to Abraham and his descendants, okay? A place or situation in which someone expects to find great happiness. Italy is the promised land for any musician. Well, Taurus season is the promised land for any individual. An individual I'd love to profile who's a Taurus that really does fit this is DJ Academics, right? DJ Academics is very, very key. I know he's controversial, but even 6ix9ine, the reason why I'm going to use 6ix9ine and Academics as examples are both of them are Taurus suns. One's a Cancer moon, the other is a Capricorn moon. And both of them are individuals who were able to, despite collective hatred against them, make their own money. People tried to bully and little boy Academics, but Academics is a multimillionaire based off of his own independent work that he's done on his own platform. And the reason why I'm using him as an example is he is a representation of the individual success that is possible to achieve by standing on your own values. So that even when other people try and stop you, they're still doing numbers. Yeah, they could do a lot more if they weren't being suppressed, but they're solidifying that security. Now people are wanting to mess with them because it's fixed, okay? So with that being said, Taurus season is the individual earth, the individual fixed earth sign, okay? Yes, that's because 6ix9ine is a god level snitch. He's the god of snitches. He's not just your regular snitch. He's a Capricorn moon Taurus sun. This is the god level Taurus. So like they're so serious, you take them serious. And they could be clowning the whole time. So like, but it's also the power of value. So they make money. And that's why his success is so controversial with Uranus on his sun. You're going to find that you completely bulldoze against status quo, right? And what is supposed to be the old norms is just a lot of people don't realize that that shit is dead. Like the old world is dead. There are people who don't get it. There are people who get it. There are people who don't get it. And so they're all being replaced by a new set of values during a new period with a new generation. Shout out to Saturn Taurus, the builders of the new earth, right? Late 90s, early 2000s, that are going to really set this through. Okay. So that being said, we have individuality, fixedness, earth. The individual nature of Taurus is your value. And this is the stubbornness that does not have you shift on your value and the values with which you stand on so that you don't fall for anything. The earth is your individual worth. What is your price? What is your price? Everybody has a price. What is your price? Hopefully you recognize you're priceless. And my job is to definitively remind you that with Uranus and Taurus, are you ready? You are an infinity heir. The price goes up every day. Yeah, you have to adjust your price within the context of a market because not everyone can afford your true value, but you are an infinity heir. Don't give in to this bullshit of having to have only physical assets because we're in a revolution where intellectual property is taking over more than ever. Okay. So, like, don't give in to this illusion that the only worth you have is through physical assets and a fixed income. That's bullshit. You're able to now draw on extra dimensional energies like never before to be inspired and manifest. Y'all are going to innovate. What is the value of magic? What is the value of an idea that's contagious and can get a whole bunch of people to not only think, but take action? Okay. Your value is limitless. People should laugh at you if you say this right. You don't have a fixed value. And don't let the way things have been done gaslight you into believing that because people's brains, because people's small minds can't comprehend it, then it's not real to them. It doesn't have to be real to them. Okay. Your value is limitless. I'm not saying this figuratively because this could be passed off figuratively. Like, okay, you mean conceptually. No, bitch. I mean, your net worth is infinity. There's not a single there's like the whole notion of your net worth being based on just your physical assets is a mechanic of the old world. And it's a tool used to put people in a hierarchical structure of high class or low class, all of which is bullshit. Like, it's complete bullshit. Like, people don't know this yet because they live within these false structures. Your net worth is infinity. You have a spirit. You are a soul. The old world mechanic of physical assets was based on the introduction of false fake science fueled through materialist reduction to make you feel that you're just a body who biodecomposes when you die and goes back to the dirt. Your spirit leaves your body and your soul travels after this. You have soul memory in your soul of past lives. And outside of a mainstream engine with which they can control the media and popular narratives, there's no proof against this. So when you remember that you're a soul, when you remember that you have the ability to liquidate and manifest your limitless value, then coming in Gemini season, you'll change the game. And the reason why this is important is when you know you're worth infinity, then you can't be bought. You can't necessarily be influenced by other people to change you out of incentive to make more money. You don't need to make more money. You're worth infinity. And you're stepping into manifesting the means to harness your infinite worth. Not that you already haven't been doing it, but the quality with which you do it is literally evolving to the next level. Let's get it. So, fire signs are manifesting the earth houses. Aries, of course, Taurus is your second house of finances. So, you're manifesting an innovation in the way you manifest and grow your finances. Leo, Taurus is your 10th house of career. So, you're manifesting innovation in the individual career success that you manifest and the reputation that comes from this as well. Okay. Sagittarius, Taurus is your 6th house of lifestyle. And so you're going to innovate the means with which You manifest value and success as well as wealth through your lifestyle. And not just your lifestyle, but you're going to pimp your life and innovate your routine and possibly the routines of others as well. Earth signs. What you're manifesting in this Taurus season is mechanics of Earth that influence your identity. Specifically, Taurus, with you, this first house will manifest an innovated way to express your value and how you identify yourself. Virgo, Taurus is your ninth house. Yo, it is third house to your sun, and you're talking about writing a book. Damn, there you go. There you go. Virgo, your ninth house is Taurus. Your way of life and your philosophy towards the values you stand on life are going to manifest and innovate, stepping you up to the next level before the 10th house transit with which you manifest the success of that philosophy. And then, of course, Capricorn, this is your fifth house of creativity. Some of you are going to be making babies, or you may be manifesting creative projects that will actually open up more avenue for self-employment if you want the cha-ching that way. Air signs are manifesting water house mechanics that trigger subconscious realization and revelation. And so we'll see that with Gemini in the 12th house, you're manifesting grounded spirituality that manifests more value in your spiritual beliefs, which are very grounded. And then, of course, Libra, Taurus is your 8th house. You're manifesting more grounded intimacy with real people in your life, as well as investment channels for those of you doing crypto. This is another self-employment house that will open up the right secure channels to take your value and grow your money. And of course, Aquarius, this is your 4th house of home. So this is going to see you, of course, manifesting a more grounded home foundation on top of also a much more innovation and a much more innovative way to live in your home. Some of you may be developing more sustainable living ideas that are ahead of its time. Okay. And finally, the water signs are manifesting the air houses, which is bringing in more awareness of, with Cancer, your friendships in the 11th house. This is actually really huge, Cancer, because given that this is rewards from career, this is where you're going to actually start to see the real effects of your reputation and with who. And then Scorpio, huge partnership transit. You're going to be manifesting relationships with other people that will really ground more wealth with these people and be the foundation to move forward accordingly. And then, of course, Pisces, your attitude, the way you actually communicate your divinity is going to be unlike any other third house transit, because you'll find that things that you're saying are warping reality and actually happening in ways that other people might see too. I noticed that whenever I chill with Pisces now, the synchronicities are insane. Like the mutual connection is retarded. Pisces, y'all need to chill. Pisces, y'all really need to chill. Like for real. Okay. All right. So here are the relevant transits for this Taurus season. We have right now the Saturn square nodes, which is huge. And then we also have Venus conjunct Neptune, which is divine. We have, of course, the new moon eclipse that's going to change the game. Although game changer isn't really the proper term, it's going to innovate the game. Texas Kaizoku is the Pisces I was referencing. Shout out to you. And Sun conjunct Uranus in the North Node are going to be iconic. They're going to be nothing short of iconic. As you see, the majority of these transits center around the nodes and Neptune with Pisces. Okay. The first thing I kind of want to illustrate, as you'll see in the charts, is there's nothing in the social signs. There's no Libra. There's no Scorpio other than the South Node. There's no Virgo. There's no Sagittarius. All of the focus. Colby, you live in ATL? I didn't even know you were there. I'm realizing so many people are in Atlanta that I didn't even know were in it. Bro, I thought you were like in Seattle. I didn't know you were in Atlanta. I kind of feel dumb as hell now. That's crazy. I didn't even know Astro Phoenix was by there too. But yeah, once again, you know, the only focus that we have is focused through Pisces and Taurus. And the reason why I want to say it like this, which should get you very excited, is all of this energy, Nashville, I feel you, all of this energy culminates. By the way, I want to return to Atlanta summer. So yeah, I want to do a meetup in ATL summer solstice. I want to do a tour, go to Atlanta, the East Coast, Cali. So I'm gaining resources so I can set some stuff up. But other than that, we have major of the focus in Pisces. We still have Saturn in Aqua. We have Pluto in Capricorn. But most of the energy in Taurus is going through Aries to manifest in Taurus. Through Pisces, right? The Pisces magic, the focus of the energy in Pisces, and then the transit in Taurus, this season is making the dream real. So we stimulated the Pisces season energy, we activated it in Aries, and now we're manifesting it in Taurus. And so let me give you an idea of that. We had the conjunction in March with Pisces, and opposite Pisces is Virgo. So that's the 6-month pipeline from March to September of taking the new cycle. We do this every year, by the way, of taking the new cycle of a dream, something we imagined that's going to manifest through Taurus and harvest in Virgo through a real experience. What we dreamed in Pisces, we're going to experience for real. And it's Taurus, that's that third house bloop, manifestation that begins to make it real, so that as it breaks ground in Taurus, it harvests in Virgo. And then you transform in Scorpio. Okay. So everything that you have been imagining is going to be made super real due to Uranus here. And this is where, as we step into that first transit, as you can see today, starting from the 20th, the square to the nodes is very key. Because relative to this square to the nodes, okay, what this effectively is doing, once again, as you can see, there's nothing here in Leo. There's literally nothing here in Virgo. There's nothing here in Libra. And the reason why this is very key is it's putting you into a position to realistically see the social axis and environment that, given the recent social distancing climate, has actually a lot to do because we don't have any focus on social energies. So there's this collective test that's happening, and most of the energy, as we see, is either in Pisces or Taurus. So Saturn, that is squaring the nodes in Taurus, is anchoring the total Saturn knowledge of your value in alignment with destiny. Saturn is karma and Taurus is the North Node. So the first thing I have to say is that square is outside opinions. You're going to have opinions towards your value, and the Hierophant just came out. That's not even true. That's based on how you respond, adding or taking away more to your value. For example, you can have people say things out of jealousy or out of whatever bullshit that they feel, right? That isn't really true to anything, but it's just a way for them to express their insecurity. A transit like this with Uranus is going to trigger this to test with Saturn your real worth, because people are allowed to share their opinions, but then there's what you're really worth. For example, you could be a tarot reader, or you could be breaking down transits, and anyone for whatever reason can feel like you're delusional or you don't know what you're doing, when really the basis of that square, the outer opinion, isn't really based on anything real, Taurus, as much as a collective opinion that slaps a label on you and puts you in a box because what you represent goes against whatever of their beliefs. The square to these nodes is a quintessential breakthrough from that conflict in the projection of insecurities that you go through, like Malaya, probably every day. None of that which is free, by the way. And there's a consequence, because every time people do this and it's not right, they get the immediate gratification of feeding their insecurity, but they pay off in the long run because what they're saying isn't true. Your very existence triggers cognitive dissonance within this influence, forcing integrity. So why this is really important with the nodes is, once again, the North Node is destiny. And before, see, we don't have this social energy anymore. So before, what people can do is preach to a choir. They don't appeal to quantity, don't appeal to quality. They'll appeal to quantity and say a bunch of stuff that's not really true, but they back up with the illusion of numbers. We don't have that anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? This is like being in the room with a celebrity who normally is known by so many other people, but that person doesn't have their social media account anymore. That person can't rest on their numbers. They're in a situation where people don't know who that person is. It's between you and them, and they can't rest on this gassed up, warped vision of themselves. And they start to realize, wow, you're actually more valuable. Like, you actually contribute in an objective sense. What you contribute to an experience is definitively more valuable than this person who's supposed to be more popular. That's that square. The insecurity is being projected on you. Some of you know what I'm saying? Like, for those of you too who can peep that, like, people with so much more followers than you on Instagram, by the way, are lurking on your page with little to no followers, but the quality of the pictures you post, the quality of the content you post is so much more than theirs. Now they're throwing shade or stealing your ideas. And I don't want to make it as petty or trivial as a follower thing, but this is such a classic example, because what you're experiencing with these nodes is the turn and shift of power dynamics. This is so very important. What's going to happen after the square that's happening right now, right? Saturn's going to keep finishing out of Aquarius. The North Node is going to go closer to Aries. At some point, we're going to have Saturn meet the North Node. So by the time Saturn meets the North Node, we will start a brand new cycle based on these changing of power dynamics. And you're going to start to see people who have held on to influence for the longest lose that influence, some overnight. And you're going to see people who have been so unpopular gain popularity, some overnight. And for those of you who've done the work, there you go. And Malaya, I'm glad you asked the dates. There's no specific date. It's literally starting from 0 degrees Taurus. And this is where I want you to see 23 Aqua, 23 North Node. Right now, Mercury is 23 square Saturn, 23. This turning point is today. So I'm going to give you the date of the actual shift of the node. So as we can see, the North Node will be 25 Pisces and Saturn will be 27 Pisces. Okay. They're meeting at the end of Pisces. This is a mutable sign change, game changer. Venus will even be back there where it is now, 2025 and 3 years from now, right before Neptune is joined in Aries by Saturn. Okay, this is iconic stuff. So this is mirroring exactly what I said about the group test. Remember, for those people who didn't do the work for the group test, well, it's going to show. Because for those who did the individual work, from now until 2025, you're going to see the power dynamic shift. From now until 2025, okay? And you definitely feel the energy before the date. From now until 2025, you're going to start to see this turning point of dynamics, slowly but surely, speeding up through Aries. And then by Pisces, the shift has been made, and now we're moving forward with that shift, okay? This is now, many of you have felt this uphill battle and fight almost to prove yourself or just to defend your value. This is really more defense of value. And what you're going to realize is after these squares, you're not going to have to defend yourself at all. The burden of proof is now solely on the people who've been antagonizing you. For example, imagine you're a tarot reader. It took you 5 years to come into success. And what blocked a lot of your success was that collective narrative that tarot reading is bullshit. You're a con man. You're not doing anything. You're a con man. Like you're deceiving these people, right? But now we're at the square, and 5 years worth of work, you have 5 stars. Every single person who you have done a tarot reading for can testify that you've changed their life. You have spoken on stuff that you weren't even supposed to know. You have definitively manifested your persona as the real deal, period. And you have physical Taurus, real proof that you're actually doing real readings with tarot. You're not saying Barnum statements. This is clinically documented. It's all recorded, right? And now the burden of proof is on that narrative to be like, hey, you were never right. So where's your proof? Like, you're going to see that turning point, and it's going to be huge. This is the Uranian innovative revolution that's flipping the switch. Imagine someone with 4 jabs saying you still need to get yours when they're still getting sick, okay? And this is where there's an element of delusion and fact resistance that's going into these enforced false narratives. Well, with the square, once again, I want to make sure that the anchoring, because remember, the difficulty with the square is the North Node is your destiny and Saturn is the 10th. So for Taurus risings, right? Destiny is having you manifest your value. But Saturn in your 10th house is the collective obligation and your responsibility towards your employment, towards your career path. And so you're answering the question of how to preserve your value while still solidifying the success you're coming into. That's the classic Sun Taurus axis here. So karma is clashing with the soul mission of this destiny, of how you're taking the desire and manifesting appreciation for it. But it's Mercury, your brain's ability to process this value, 10 degrees away from Uranus, because a 10-degree orb is still felt, that is anchoring this switch. Okay. Lily, thank you so much. I always appreciate feedback like that, by the way. So I want you to see April 23rd as your brain is processing this knowledge. This is the actual switch being flipped. Mercury is flipping that switch. So congratulations. Okay. The switch is where Saturn falls in your chart. Is Saturn in your 10th? That flip is being switched in career, where now people around the world realize, oh, this person is actually the real deal. You're going from con man to the real deal. Is Saturn in your 7th? Then the switch is relationships that provide more knowledge instead of take away. Like, this is all happening now. By the time Mercury now moves forward and the North Node moves, you're starting to see that switch. Okay. So I have to just illustrate this is actually one of the most important transits, because what's in between that is Neptune, Venus, and Jupiter. And that conjunction with the Pisces magic, if that wasn't in there, you would literally have a sandwich with no bun. You would have two buns with nothing in it. This might be one of my best analogies, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. Right now, the Pluto trine and autobiography coming soon. The Saturn square is a sandwich. And that Pisces in between is the delicious, juicy cream in the sandwich that makes it taste good. I am in love with life. This is so good to be part of. This is so awesome. Yes, I've been feeling that more than ever too. And so that expansion here is the inner juice that is expanding what used to be possible and showing you new frontiers, showing you that there is no ceiling or limits, but most importantly, beginning this brand new cycle of evolution in the last zodiac sign. There's nothing more iconic than that. There's nothing more iconic than that. Just off the strength that this is 165 years in the making, because once every 13 years, we have this conjunction. So we had it in Aries, then we had it in Taurus, then we had it in Gemini, then 165 years later, it came back since the 1800s into Pisces. This level of, if you now think of it like that it went from Aries, and Virgo, and then the Cap, and then back into Pisces, is evolving the collective ability to harness the metaphysical and supernatural, because remember, we're all connected in a sequence through synchronicity that seemingly we're separated, but that's just an illusion, is skyrocketing us forward in its sextile to the North Node, having you apply this imagination mentally through your physical senses. So not only is this Saturn square a switch that's being flipped, get this. I want you to comment an exclamation mark emoji if you've recognized that your ability to harness energy is so much more advanced. Because now this is the next stage of where we're going with this. And relative to this, this is also flipping the switch on how much more smoothly you can coral electrical energy through your body. especially when you take into account that the cells within your body coral electrical energy. Your brain, through synapses as well, generates electricity. But given how electricity works and that flow from, of course, electrons that are attracted to protons, the flow from that axis is what creates electricity as we see through your body. What we're seeing here effectively now is more so than ever the ability for you to harness electricity through your own body. It's not the first time you've done this, but I want you to see Saturn as the power system, right? So if you think about how grounding and electrical cords work, you have natural energy with Neptune. Sorry, you have natural energy with Taurus. We can see Taurus as the appliance. Then you have solar energy with Leo. Then you have pure energy with Scorpio. And then you have cosmic energy with Aquarius. So when you have an appliance, you plug that appliance into the source wall. That's Leo, that's Aquarius. When you're plugging it into that source, it is generating electricity and power from the source, Leo. Leo takes that source energy and converts it electrically to be fed into the appliance. And so you can think of Saturn as the cosmic energy that Saturn can control and direct, squaring into Taurus, the appliance that is your physical body, flipping the switch of Mercury, your brain, through your crown to harness with Uranus supernatural energy. Uranus is the causal realm of the mind. And this is where we're going to take things advanced. The reason why I have to say it like this is those who are uninitiated will make the decision to give their power away to evil wizards and witches who lie to them about what they're capable of, versus those of you who ask and shall receive. You're starting to realize that you can harness elements of your own energy like an appliance in practical ways. This North Node is having you innovate and change that whole system. So very important. And because of the way we're taught, many people won't harness this because they don't believe in themselves like that. They don't believe that they have Reiki healing ability. Shireen, you did not miss most of it. We actually still just started, so no worries. You will be able to catch the replay for the hour, but thank you for joining us, okay? And other than that, you know, for example, I was in a position where I didn't have the luxury to be skeptical. My own skepticism blocked me almost from learning about this, but I was in a position where I had a stuffed nose. I had nothing but a selenite wand and my belief in my healing ability. I had to wait a couple days for the antibiotic or the medicine I had to take to declog my nose to come through. It came in like 2 days later, but by the time it came through, I healed myself. I didn't need that for years. I took a selenite wand and I just spent 15 minutes focusing healing energy through it. I had to do it because I tried to go to sleep and both of my noses were so blocked, I couldn't even go to sleep. And so Reiki was a last resort. I had to change the way I thought about it instead of something that it's natural energy I have, because we were taught that this is bullshit. And so my nose did not miraculously heal, but I was able to sniff through one nose. And it wasn't until I did it the next day, it was healed. Okay. So that's not to really make anyone a believer in Reiki as much as it is to push forward the concept of unconventional Uranus, manifestation of energy and ability. So you have the physical reality. If we break down the etheric realm, right, with Sagittarius, then you have the material realm with Capricorn. Then you have the causal realm of the mind, where all your thoughts come from, with Aquarius. And then you have the astral realm of imagination, where your soul goes, with Neptune. All right. And people don't really understand Uranus because we're just now coming into the knowledge of quantum mechanics, the observer effect, quantum superposition that superimposes a reality based on who's observing it. All of this has a lot to do with the causal realm of the mind. The causal realm is outside of this 3D physical reality. So Saturn is the 3D, and Uranus, which is trans-Saturnian, we know Chiron is in between Saturn and Uranus, is causal. Causal pertaining to an unseen facet that is extra dimensional, a quality of energy you can draw from outside of this realm through your crown chakra. And then Neptune is invisible, it's trans-Saturnian. Anytime you talk about these controversial planets, you're seen as crazy with Uranus and delusional with Neptune, when Uranus is genius and Neptune is divine. So stupid people will think smart, genius people are crazy people because they're dumb as fuck. Okay. And so this Uranian energy triggers a lot of people because it forces them to think outside the box of the disciplinarian Saturnian matrix that evokes this cognitive dissonance. Because a lot of people are dumb motherfuckers that are just told how to think. So people, like, this is not a joke. Okay, so Uranus in Taurus is such a big deal because you're now taking the causal mechanic function of natural energy in Taurus, and it's allowing you to harness that as simple as breathing. You're not going to be conscious of this. Energy this subatomic is beyond your ability to see in telescopes. This is why Neptune and Uranus are ascribed to faith. It has less to do with believing in a religion and more to do with you have to direct this energy with your intent, with faith, because you're not going to be able to, like Saturn or the inner planets, see physical evidence of this. So Uranus and Taurus is the supernatural quality of energy that supercharges your physicality at a subtle psychic level. And so Saturn in Aquarius is strengthening the physical quality in the 3D of cosmic energy that you literally channel through Uranus physically, just with the intent. And what you're going through right now are the neural pathways since 2020 that you've built in order to strengthen your ability to harness quintessence, energy, chakra, nen, life force through your physical body. This is one of the major game changers coming into the new age of Pluto Aqua, Neptune Aries, Uranus Gemini. In between then, the Moon Pluto awakening we just had collectively is manifesting right now with the Moon in Aqua. And so you're understanding the knowledge of how this electricity will coral through your body. Don't worry, you will master this. But what you want to focus on now is the correlation of how this increase of knowledge of energy also beefs up your self-esteem, also beefs up your confidence. So to break this down, okay, and quintessence is the primordial energy that almost combines all the elements together. It really just speaks towards that pure energy that doesn't have to be distilled, or the fifth element, right? So the reason, the nature of this, once again, is this isn't necessarily going to be anything that you conventionally come into. This is everything that's going to require you thinking outside the box. And so the good news is that with the sun and Mercury around here, your spiritual awareness and your mind's ability to process this is aligning with all of this. So all you need to know right now is that a switch has been flipped on your brain. And moving forward, you're going to come into more exponential, supernatural ways to manifest different ways of coming into value. And this leads to Venus conjunct Neptune. As we step into the balsamic phase of this transit, we are going to see with Venus on Neptune in another couple of days a very important cycle kick in to gear. This is very important because it's still within the Jupiter conjunction. And on top of that, this is where Jupiter and Neptune conjuncted. So you're going to see an expansion en route to the subsequent Venus Jupiter conjunction. Okay. The transcendent nature with 10 of Cups, Mars and Pisces not far behind, of dreams coming true or being made real in Taurus. Okay, so much of what your heart has been wishing for. And this is where it's going to seem like it all comes together at once. But as I'll show you here, this has actually systematically been coming together slow by slow every year. And so what I want to reference actually is the last time we actually saw these two planets come together, which last year during 2021 occurred. Well, let's actually do 2020. 2020, when Venus was leading the pack. Since 2012, we have seen Venus and the other planets conjunct here. So I want you to look 2020. We still had Jupiter in Capricorn, right? Then I want you to look at 2021, where we now have Jupiter in Aquarius. This is all iconic, y'all. Ain't nothing more iconic than these transits. Okay? Jupiter's in Aquarius. Versus now, we see Jupiter is in Pisces, baby. So the reason why this is so very important is because now that Jupiter is in Pisces, remember, 2012 was when Neptune entered Pisces. 2012 was when, oh my gosh, a lot of trolling. Psych. 2012 was when Jupiter went into Gemini or Taurus, coming into Gemini. So ever since Neptune went into Pisces, we have had 10 solid years of Venus conjunctions. The Venus conjunction coming back around with Jupiter while Venus is in its dignity on Neptune. Venus is exalted on Neptune in its dignity, is bringing to the fruition the fullness of this dream. I want to say it like this because so many of you have felt so much closer to accomplishing this dream. It's like you can smell it, you can taste it. And the purpose of this Piscean cycle is to every year expand how much more you believe in what's possible. Because this year specifically, this Venus conjunct Neptune is not like the last ones. I showed you just the last 2 years with Jupiter here. Remember, Jupiter was 11th house to it, then it was 12th house to it. Now it's conjuncted. Trust, the sextile we see this make to Mercury in the North Node is going to hyper manifest like a beanstalk bliss. And this is where 11th house to this Taurus axis that we see this happening in is going to bring in so much hopes and wishes. Remember, the 11th house is hopes and wishes. Many of you are going to pinch yourself and feel like you're in a dream. It's just the reason why I wanted to set it up like this is 10 years in the making. Kaylee, this is going to be wild. We've never had an alignment like this before. That's the thing. And this is bringing in an exact, like, there's what you dreamed, and then the universe is going to be like, nope, even bigger than that. And the 11th house nature with Jupiter here is what's expanding the quality of this to literally the next level. Okay. So this conjunction, if you think about what you desire versus what you used to desire, is changing the whole game. At the third decan, okay, subruled by Pluto of transformation, that trine the South Node is linked to the unlocking of this pure energy. So keep this in mind, because remember, conjunctions are Aries signatures. They're kicking off a brand new cycle. Eventually, we're going to have Venus and Virgo opposite this. And so the way you want to see conjunctions are seeds being sown. And this is tapping you into the fullness at the final degrees of the zodiac of this dream coming more into fruition than ever. Things that may have seemed delusional or impossible are within arm's reach, mainly because you have to work for it. But this is where, with Uranus, once again, the unconventional nature of how exponentially this manifests will blow your literal mind. And to see that this is happening during the balsamic phase before the new moon is also iconic too, leading us into, of course, the new moon eclipse. The new moon eclipse is even more iconic because we're going to have Jupiter on Venus. Now, everything about this new moon is important. The end of the month is so key. First of all, the new moon is 10 degrees. Step astrology, 10 degrees is actually an I manifest degree. Shout out to Christopher Witecki. With the astrology degrees, 10 degrees is also Capricorn, which is a success degree. I don't really follow that system, but for those of you who do, the 10-degree sun moon conjunction is the official switch that with Jupiter on Venus, right, is going to be the official sowing of seeds into this next paradigm. We're literally going into, of course, the portal. So where is Taurus in your chart? Because as far as what I recommend you do for the new moon is sowing seeds. What is your price? Tell the universe what your price is, especially with the square to Saturn. And that's why I'm saying you are an infinity year. You can't be bought. So do anything that reflects a brand new cycle into the universe that establishes your limitless value. Because this new moon is the first chapter into sowing the seeds of brand new value. This is going to be a great time to put something out or to at least understand the new worth you're moving forward with. Because square Saturn, once again, it's going to be challenged by the collective narrative and how you turn that story around within or without your favor, okay, depending on how you want to move this. So where is Taurus in your chart? Because that's going to let you know where this new value is. If you're a Scorpio rising, this is new value you're holding space for in partnerships, where you're only accepting a certain quality of partnerships that matches your value you're putting into it. And remember, the quality of criticism against your value will really show how much more valuable you are, because you're going to see more and more that people cannot bring up anything factual. Make sure you have a fallacy book, a rule book for arguments, because you'll see outside of fallacies, outside of opinions, outside of how people feel, people want to leverage their feelings. You're realizing that. You're realizing that people want to leverage how they feel and their respect, but they don't want to work for your respect. So what you're seeing is just because people just bring it up and that's how they feel They expect you to automatically tiptoe around their feelings and be like, oh, okay. But what you're starting to do is, bitch, I don't care how you feel. Show me some evidence. Like, yeah, that's how you feel, but can you give me anything real? And you're starting to realize that people can't give you anything real. They'll give you a real attitude, but that's about it. And you're taking your power back. And you're realizing systematically outside of the choir people preach to, they can't really talk to you a certain type of way. It's by Anthony Weston. They can't really hit you with certain types of bullshit. And this is causing them to show their real colors because they tried to play that high school bullshit before. Now they have to actually dig into whatever substance they don't have and actually match wits with you, which they can't do. Now they're realizing that passive aggressive bullshit that only worked because you let it work isn't working no more. Isn't working anymore. Because now they actually have to do something for real. And most people are not about ish. And you're seeing that. This is that turning point. Because whereas they were faking the funk, you were keeping it real. There's a reason why I keep on saying this over and over. By the time we're in Gemini, Leo season, you're socially expressing this to people. So all you're receiving now are projected insecurities because these people are desperate. They can't show you. I just proved to you they can't tell you anything real. Now you're seeing them express irrelevance. Now they realize they can't leverage this false sense of respect. They can't give you anything concrete to back up their opinions. You're starting to see they were never that powerful. This is huge. This is huge. You individually, Taurus, are flipping around the power dynamics. Because of you, what people used to see as valuable ain't that valuable because they can't even back up their opinions. Meanwhile, their opinions are contradicting the numbers you're putting out. What's up? So as you feel more of those projected insecurities, they cornered themselves. Thank you, Michi. Thank you, Shireen. As you see more of these projected insecurities, that's an aspect of victory. All they're doing is saying that you are powerful over them. Because if they had anything to prove it, they would show it. But they're frustrated. And this is important because so many of these people put up fronts like they're cool. The Saturn in Aquarius is bringing up the postmodern conventional notion of coolness in relation to individual value. There's what you're worth, and in Aquarius is how popularly you are received. But just because you're popular doesn't mean you're valuable. You have a whole bunch of popular, useless pieces of shit. And then you have people who are super valuable who aren't as known, my friends. Thank you. You're shifting that status quo. Okay. So this new moon cycle has the conjunction of Jupiter and Venus in the 11th house of hopes and wishes. This new moon cycle is going to manifest throughout the 2-week cycle into the full moon almost everything you've been working towards. Remember, Venus conjuncted Jupiter in Cap, then it conjuncted Jupiter in Aquarius 2021 in February. Now it's conjuncting in May, really in April. So this is going to be a literal tidal wave that's going to go over the land. A tidal wave of abundance is coming over the land you are solidifying with this new moon. Okay. And this is what's going to kick off the brand new eclipse paradigm, not only of the value that you're segmenting, but you have to see this as a new way to manifest and coral energy. Because Chiron 12th house to this is like a push to start key. And we're going to have the 0-degree Mercury Gemini axis in its dignity. So a couple things. Mars that sextile this is going to have you take action almost immediately. And Mercury ahead of the pack is going to intellectually with sheer brilliance, inspire you with ideas of how to communicate this near instantly. Because now that we step into the shadow period before the retrograde, you'll be reevaluating these new ideas, and the whole game is going to continue to be changed for you. So I just wanted to illustrate that conjunction right there. You're going to step into so much fortunate change. A new moon cycle like this is going to bring in a change of how you connect with certain people, new circumstances that will literally feel like a dream come true. Make sure that the catch of this is that you don't allow people to undermine your value, because now they feel like they have more access to you than they did before. Seeing that maybe you're a bit more popping than you were before. And so we do have Sun conjunct Uranus, okay, which I want to show you. Sun conjunct the Sun, Moon, Sun, Uranus, and then the North Node, okay? So Sun Uranus, which is going to be 4 days later, is going to signify, based on this new moon cycle, the beanstalk effect. What does that mean? You're planting the seeds on the 30th of April. Then we have a May 1st, May 2nd, May 3rd. Boom! May the 4th be with you. Okay? Get this. Sun conjunct Uranus is happening sextile Mars. So the sextile Mars aspect to the Sun Moon is the collective action and support with this developing manifestation that will have you feel this move forward. So what are the odds? We have the activation of the new moon cycle. Then we're going to Moon in Gemini and its affinity, second house, manifest the true value of this. And as you manifest the understanding, Moon in Gemini, of the idea of the Sun in Taurus, boom, on Uranus, we're beanstalking. This is a magical beanstalk that's going to take this new cycle at the end of the month, and you will instantly already start to see returns coming into May 4th. This is what's going to have you reevaluate coming into the retrograde, how specifically to Gemini change your ideas and thinking around, oh, snap, this is selling much more than I expected. Okay, like this is going to have you like, get ready to enjoy. Okay. And the thing is, a lot of this is going to develop so quickly for the first time. Many of you will be innovating stuff you've never really known what to innovate. And of course, boom, we have Jupiter finally enter Aries, baby, right before the full moon. Okay. And that's the 22-degree killer be killed degree sextile Neptune. And so after you manifest the new moon, and then you exponentially multiply that with the manifestation, then we'll have Moon in Cancer, third house. You're going to understand the Moon in Cancer special understanding of the attitude of how to feel emotionally intelligently of this worth. Then we're going to have the quarter square, Moon in Leo. How confident do I feel performing on stage to other people my product, because I know it's the shit? If I'm not confident about this, I'm going to be weak on stage, like, hey, try my stuff. If I know this is the shit, I'm going to be like, hey, check this out. Yeah, you want to try this? What's up? Right. That's the quarter square. Then you have the Moon in Virgo, which is going to complete the fullness of creativity and begin to harvest this. Then we have Moon in Libra. And as we integrate socially, how we connect with other people, this value, the North Node is going to take your eggs and place it in that basket. Now that you're seeing the seeds grow, the North Node is your awareness of what direction you're taking it into. And this is going to be one of the more fated days. So be very mindful of what occurs on this day on the 12th, because a lot of the decisions made through this with that light square to Saturn especially will anchor and cement over the next 6 months coming into Scorpio what occurs. So make sure with that square to Saturn, this is not the decision to do something because it pays you out in the short term. You will regret it later. Some of you may turn down a bag because you feel like it's just not worth it for you. So this is where let integrity play. Don't get money hungry. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure whatever you decide to do, you're okay with doing it long term, because this is going to be huge. Right before that full moon, right opposite the Chiron with the moon in Libra at that. And that's really the significance of the North Node transit. Once again, you really want to see where it's going to occur in your chart. Woo! All right. So, with that being said, we are going to get into breaking down what this means for the zodiac signs. And I'm going to play a quick song and take a break. First and foremost, please comment down below any feedback. How do you like this webinar so far? Before we break down this for the signs, how do you like this format? Was this informative? Did you enjoy this? I want to make sure you actually got something out of this. Is it good to be planning right now and start a project on the 29th? Absolutely. You definitely want to start a project on the new moon. You itching to blast off is going to be really, it's going to sync with the energy there. Okay. Lily, Shireen, thank you. Lily, thank you so much. Amistar, thank you so much. All right. This means so much. Okay. And I'm glad you find it extremely informative. All right. Specifically the transits too, before we break it down, I want to at least make sure the concepts are clear for you. All right. So much appreciated. I'm going to take a quick break. Okay. And then once we come back, we will resume with the webinar. All right. One moment. And by request,
I'll be sitting low key, don't nobody. It's like it's supposed to be, ain't nobody close to me. Don't nobody own me, and if you gotta come, better show me. I'll be sitting low key, don't nobody own me. Hey, just like it's supposed to be, ain't nobody close to me. Never been a phony. Please, someone give these actors Tonys. Like, you a fraud, man. Pull your card out. Always yapping, never in the yard, put in work, shining like a star, ayy, and I'm in it, independent, I be sitting low key, mind on my mission, go talk a lot about me, I just choosing my business, making records in my world, drinking Guinness, and I'm winning, cause everything I start, that I finish, I be sitting low key, don't nobody know me, just like it's supposed to be, ain't nobody close to me. Don't nobody own me, and if you got a problem, better show me. I be sitting low key, don't nobody know me. Hey, just like it's supposed to be, ain't nobody close to me. Never been a phony. Please, someone get these actors Tonys. Like, you a con, you a fake. Preach your love, but always spreading hate. Hit a destiny, set us up a date. I'ma marry her, then cheat on her with fate. Sitting low key. What the game been missing, ain't no competition. Catch a nigga in the woods, bitch. I'm distant, what my friends be telling me, but I only keep close my enemies. I be sitting low key, don't nobody know me. Just like it's supposed to be, ain't nobody close to me. Don't nobody own me, and if you got a problem, better show me. I be sitting low key, don't nobody know me. Hey, just like it's supposed to be, ain't nobody close to me. Never been a phony. Please, someone give these actors Tonys. They a hater, they a faker, they the type that make you turn down a fader, Mute they volume, ooh, a problem, you don't want it, let me solve it, what they talking about, what they laughing at, I know it ain't us, cause we be catching that, check, check, yeah, getting guala niggas, stay up at your neck, I wanna test ya. Always kept it real from the get-go. No, I ain't a killer, but I'm moving with some hitters. If you got a problem with it, that's your neck though. Send it to the afterlife. Winning with my team, screw the other side. Fucking with my niggas, that's suicide. I'ma live forever, I'ma never die. I ain't never lie.
It's never pressure, I just go for pleasure. On the grind, deep inside my mind, I found a treasure. Flowing every weather, keep the flow together. Almost 30, never worry, I'ma live forever. Man on the mission, make the world listen. A fight to unite, got a Dr. Kid vision. What I see in others looks like cancer. Niggas kill their brother, that's where the Black Panther. Can we get an answer to that madness? Seeking happiness, digging deep inside the sadness. Stuck in our ways, digging these graves. Live empirical, don't be material slave. Get the hell out the way, live a life true. Flow to the queue, let the higher self through. Do what it do, get better every flight. Stay true to you, live forever in the life. Y'all know.
I ain't wanna test yo. Always kept it real from the get-go. No, I ain't a killer, but I'm moving with some hitters. If you got a problem with it, that's your neck though. Send it to the afterlife. Winning with my team, screw the other side. Fucking with my niggas, that's suicide. I'ma live forever, I'ma never die. I ain't never lie.
I hear a lot of this said, that and all these assumptions got me looking for the Batman. I'm too cold to be working for no cat man. Trying to cut a leg, but you gotta make a sacrifice. Foolish nigga, you was looking to him just because he nice. Just lit up the Jesus cushion. I smell like the Antichrist. Throw a 5 for it for a session after packing right. And let us get lit in the dark of the afterlife. Hey, I've been waiting on a call from an apple bite. Yeah, Eve got me on my Mac, I need an apple slice. You see, I like the best chins, call it appetite. This is not a diamond, it's dynamite. I'ma make him breathe through an asthma pipe. Forrest Gump should've ran for his afterlife. You see me with a fucking gypsy at average height. Yeah, they just leave his guy with his Aphrodite.
I ain't wanna test ya. Always kept it real from the get-go. Damn, no, I ain't a killer, but I'm moving with some hitters. If you got a problem with us, that's your neck though. Send you to the afterlife. Winning with my team, screw the other side. Fucking with my niggas, that's suicide. I'ma live forever, I'ma never die. I ain't never lie.
years. You wanna know how I live? They want me to have nobody here. They wanna keep me out when I'm in there. All through the niggas getting lit. They tell me what you know about it. They just say nuts. You just say straight. They just say sluts. They just say suck. Ain't no contract. Where my signature? Put my lyrics. Ain't no energy. Ain't no crowd. Baby, I just fuck the system. G-spot. They niggas. It's plenty. See that? It's a weird with my business. King, you good. Tell me, take off my flag, ask me how gangsta I was, nigga. You lucky on that day I was acting cool, cuz I told you I ain't got time for that, but nigga, today I got time, cuz.
Getting lump sums, they don't even know. Drive no car, still fly startup. Send a bad, make it all right back. And they hating on me, but I know they like that. Out of my mind, and your girl bad, and she gave me head. Down that pussy dead. They like, I 30 years old, 50, get your nigga. This bitch still don't give a shit. Niggas hating on me, bitches hating too. I say nigga a lot, cause that's what niggas do. I don't call them bitches unless that bitch a hoe. And even if she is, she can still get it up. Get it, yo. They just call me lame and I'm like, so, it's still a hoe. And I ain't shit, tell a witness if your chick still hit her with the dick. Oh my goodness. Like, why he even did this? Seriously, I kinda think he really killed this. This shit's stupid, like, why he still listening? I'm really getting red, like, this shit's ridiculous. And it's like Halloween, how they trick, treat a woman in the mask with some titties and some ass. If I ain't getting some, and I'm still getting cash. Ain't about the money, but top money, I'm a dash. Peace.
And we back. Thank you all for the quick break and your patience. Michi, I did see you request Weirdo. I totally got you next stream. I totally got you. Okay. That's definitely a personal favorite. I might even play the music video for that one too. But let us get this show back on the road. Whew. What I definitely wanted to illustrate so far with all of this, just so we can recap before we get into the zodiac signs. Basically, what we're going to see here is the innovation and innovation Uranus and proliferation North Node of new moon, new value that you're bringing into your life. This is not our first rodeo. This is not our first new moon in Taurus. We have a new moon in cycle in Taurus every 365 days or every year. This is the first new moon in Taurus we're having with all this condensed supernatural, magical Pisces essence. Because I'm not going to call it an energy. Aquarius is an energy. Taurus is an energy. Pisces is an essence. It's magic. And so we are bringing in the newness of this manifestation cycle with all the magic in existence, exalted with Venus and in its dignity with Neptune and Jupiter. 11th house to here, having you step into this cycle with all of your hopes and wishes that you have been wishing and through your actions been taking hope towards since 2010. I wanted to also illustrate that the supernatural means and function through which you harness and coral energy will fundamentally have that lever switched. For those of you who were born at the God level consciousness from Scorpio to Cap to Pisces, Sag, and Aqua, your relationship with this harnessing of energy is going to be played out more through other people as collective social entities. Whereas if you were born Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, you have a much more direct on your individual person harnessing of these energies versus if you're Libra, Virgo, Leo in the social axis, either dealing with individuals or find that in your social instances with other people, you're sharing this energy. Because, of course, the higher your sun is, the more advanced you're able to coral this energy versus your moon, where you'll feel it. Everything up until this point was geared towards awakening your understanding of supernatural power to the next level, because moving forward from here, we're taking the conceptual reality of superpowers, and from here on out, it's real. It's no longer speculative, because now you've seen synchronicities that have confirmed, like each and every single one of you watching me has seen multiple synchronicities that have reasonably confirmed that you are stepping into a higher consciousness. You are stepping into a greater Capricorn, sense, Pisces, of your own value, Taurus. And how you identify with that and how you actually hold that on your person. Like, your body language after Taurus season is going to be so different. And for those of you who do any workout regimens or physical activity, you will see exaggerated effects like Uranus. And this is where the causal nature of Uranus is unseen. And so you'll practically manifest it by comparing your results to previous days. Like, and that won't even be the most conclusive, but like, it's supernatural, baby. Okay. The best way to really prove it is to test it yourself. And that's why this is a game changer. It's manifesting a game changer because Pisces is perceptual. We can argue all day in Pisces about the color of a dress. Aries is individually unique. Everyone is different. Taurus, that's numbers. See, like, listen, this is why Tauruses talk shit too when it comes to numbers, because like, you can manipulate numbers, but there's just certain shit you can't fake. You can fake all the antics. You can fake really powerfully the narrative. But when those numbers come in, we see what's up. And it's not in a superficial sense either, where it's like quantity over quality. We're talking about whether you have, it's not about how much, it's about the quality. So this is where, yeah, you didn't pull that much numbers, but the quality you pulled in is much more than those who had numbers. That's all I'm saying. Taurus, it's no longer a game, it's real. It's like, what are you pulling in? And this is important because this is going to be the base state that by the time you come back around with Jupiter and Taurus will multiply. So that's another thing. With the square to Taurus will eventually be a Saturn and Pisces sextile to Taurus. So that is saying whatever you start with, know it's going to multiply. Don't get so caught up on what you have that you forget it's a part of a career. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a part of a whole long-term growth. And boom, I wanted to just exemplify that. So depending on where Taurus is in your chart, we're going to go into the zodiac signs. As I read your zodiac sign, okay, this will apply primarily for your rising and your sun. I'm going to break this down every webinar in order to understand how Taurus is going to play out. Okay, for example, I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm a Taurus rising and my sun is in Gemini. So as a Taurus rising, I'm redefining my identity. I'm rebranding myself, and I'm coming into the first chapter of my self-expression. I know Aries season was my 12th house, so there's certain things I let go. I don't do anymore as a part of me stepping into this new manifestation of first house, myself. But my sun is in Gemini. So I'm not aware of this like a sun in Scorpio with a Taurus rising would be. See, if my sun was in Scorpio, then my awareness of this transit would be through other people. Because as a sun in Scorpio, my sun is aware of Taurus in relationships with other people. But I'm a Taurus rising. So my relationships with other people as a Scorpio sun is going to play out in how relationships with other people influence the way I personify myself. Taurus rising. I have my sun in Gemini. So I'm going to be aware of the manifestation of my character in a way that releases old spiritual beliefs around what I used to Gemini think about myself, hence upgrading my self-esteem. This one subtle dimension takes astrological interpretations to the next level. Because, yeah, you might know what house it falls in, but do you know how your sun is being aware of it? So I want you to think about that. Where is your sun and where is your rising? And the moon will let you know how you feel, right? But the sun is what you're aware of, and rising is where what you're aware of plays out. Okay. So very important. If you are an Aries sun with the Taurus rising, then you're aware of this manifestation of your character as it applies to your finances and how the manifestation of your brand identity gets you more money. So let's get it. It's practically applicable too, because it either is accurate or not. This doesn't really leave too much room for any vagueness. So feel free to comment down below what house Taurus is in your chart, as well as also relative to your sun sign. Okay, so you could type your rising in your sun, and we'll be able to kind of like work with that. So with Aries, okay, Mercury is going to be transiting Taurus and Gemini through your second and third house. And so with the sun that's going to be in your second house, manifesting your finances, the main gist of this season for you, Aries, is manifesting your dream and activating the next level of your self-identification towards the full-on innovation of your finances. This is so very important because there is a radical sense of your own self-esteem in yourself that will never be the same. And this could look like you're crazy as hell. This could look like you believe in yourself in a way that no one believes in you. Okay? And you want to be as crazy as possible. Famous music lessons asked a very important question. What if you have an interception? So I don't do interceptions because I use the equal sign system, as Aries should. Amen. Amen. So the equal sign system or the whole sign system takes away interceptions. Interceptions can be applicable for planet transits. In my honest opinion, they're trash. So I wouldn't even acknowledge them. Get you the equal sign system. Whatever rising your AC is, every house in your chart is that. Because the reason for interceptions has more to do with the equator, by the way. So it's more mathematical equations. It's not really like you'll have astrologers swear by interceptions, but it's more placebo. Mathematically speaking, it's equal and whole. Like every house will have it. So if your degree is 7 degrees AC, every house in your chart is 7 degrees. Okay. And you have 12 houses. So that's the deal. The answer to interceptions is equal house system or the whole sign system. Okay. So Aries, this is very, very important because personally, the way you're radically getting ready to communicate this value, as soon as Mercury goes into Gemini with the new moon eclipse, you're instantly going to spread the message. Your brain is going to start to process how to think about this sense of your value, so that when we're in Gemini season, you'll be hitting up the neighborhood selling your services. Okay. And with Venus that's going to come in your sign, Pisces is going to pass you the torch. And with Pisces passing you the torch, this is realistically putting you in a position to take, because the whole notion of this 12th house axis, which you fundamentally represent with Pisces, is releasing old and outdated beliefs. This evolution in this subconscious blind spot of yours is having you take the spiritual beliefs around your faith in yourself and the faith you have in the collective to the next level. Aries, you more than most other of the representatives are seeing firsthand this level of synchronization. So the synchronicities you have, you're seeing it like a 0 to 2-year-old would, like a baby would, which makes it that much more magical, which makes more faith required, because like Pisces, it's really hard to communicate this to people. Not like it will be at the end of the month when Mercury goes into Gemini. Mars is also going to be in your 12th house. So there's so much perspective that provides lethargy. If you don't feel like doing much, it's because Mars isn't in your sign yet. However, once Venus enters your sign, and now you get the glow up, because when Mars is in your sign, you're sexy. When Venus is in your sign, people want you more than they do. This is getting ready to evolve and roundabout the faith you have. It really just comes down to the faith you have in yourself, which is going to reflect the more faith 12th house you have in yourself, the more value you have in what you're worth, and the more it's reflected into your self-confidence. That's how the 12th connects through the first of identity to your value in the second. And Pluto is still fundamentally transforming your career. So that T-square coming out of your sign broke through how much more confidence you have relative to any criticisms out there with people in the world, and the difficulty of awakening this greater sense of legacy. Because once that goes into Aquarius, Aries, you're concluding a long career chapter since 2008. And with Saturn that's in your 11th, which is still strengthening the community support around you, you're going to find that the work you put into friendships are paying off more than ever. So with that square, which we'll see from your 11th to 2nd, you must make sure not to entertain false narratives around what you're worth, because you're introducing a new sense of this value to that collective. And that pipeline can get you paid, Aries. That pipeline will get you paid. You're effectively manifesting a new product, and you're bringing it to your network in the 11th, like, buy my shit. And you are going to be like, oh, you hot, I see you. Or if this is the integrity test, if it's not there, then you just go back to the drawing board. But the key here really is Jupiter that's going to enter your sign at the end of Taurus season. Once we come into that new moon, Aries, as soon as Jupiter enters your sign, after Venus goes in, you're going to feel that evolution. This is the universe from the etheric realm itself out the astral, handing you the torch. And Jupiter, Aries, we know you start shit the best out of every sign. Y'all spark everything, because everyone has there's certain transits where certain signs spark things off, and I don't think anyone does it as good as you, Aries. I'm gonna just be real. Like, y'all know how to start shit. So this is going to start with a bang, baby. And as these planets come out the 12th, throughout the middle and end, or rather throughout the end of April, you're going to sense that lack of lethargy convert into bold passion. So don't force yourself to do anything before you feel like it, to be honest. After, of course, the first quarter square coming into the full moon, once this comes into Aries, you'll be more clear on what direction to take. Because all the 12th house energy and expansion is adjusting the perception of your direction moving forward. And yes, this is going to have you quintessentially manifest these sense of finances so much more boldly and powerfully. Taurus, this season for you, of course, is going to kick into gear this radical self-definition of self. Sorry, this radical self-definition. And it's going to innovate the instrumental quality of how your physical body not only personifies who you are, but how you conduct and manifest natural energy through your body. You are a walking power, you're a living power plant, an energy center with this. And there is a much more assertive and confident way you will find yourself communicating that will show more growth in you in such a short period of time than you've had over this past decade. It's almost like you're making up for lost time. I want to speak to Pluto in the ninth because at 28 degrees, if you think about your philosophy towards life since 2008 verse now, your beliefs have transformed so extremely. This is opening up so much more power relative to how much more valuable you see yourself. And Taurus, I really feel like in the hardest of ways, you've always known you were valuable, but you're coming into some of the highest knowledge than ever before of carving through this value. And a lot of that is Saturn in your 10th house. Congratulations. After Jupiter has evolved your 10th, Saturn is y'all coming into accolades. Taurus, there's a lot of hushed quality, but still flowers you're being given. Even though Saturn does bring the limitations, this is the brick and mortar being set so that after Saturn finishes out your 10th, you're set for life. Like Aquarius is the strongest 10th house to have. Like Taurus risings, this is really, really, really important because with the eclipse new moon, you are manifesting the identity of who you are with this success. Saturn in its 10th. And so you are personifying the authority that applies itself collectively. You're going to find that this manifestation of character anchors down the success you've built in the sky, and you start to manifest physically the actual nature of the success, money. And not only that, notoriety and respect. Saturn in the third decan, give or take. Oh my God, Saturn's in the third decan. Yes. Sub-ruled by Venus at that is putting you in a position to come into and garner more collective respect than ever before. And so you're manifesting the practical, tangible results of that in a way that you can actually practically touch and in a way that increases the self-esteem you have. And the best part about this is Jupiter leaving your 11th house. With Mars and Venus and Jupiter in your 11th house, this is the rewards from your career and success. This is upgrading the quality of friends. You may find friends in your social circle are leveling up. There's good news happening to them because that's an extension of your identity, right? And vice versa. This can even serve to change the quality of the social circles you get invited to and are around. But because Neptune is involved here, there is a surreal feeling of each and every single one of your hopes and wishes coming true. Like this is chapter 1 for you. So you're starting chapter 1 of 2022 literally manifesting almost every single one of your wishes and goals through a special friend or through, you know what I'm saying, that 11th house dream magically manifesting through you on your person. So by the time Jupiter starts to enter Aries, this is going to release the old lifestyle for you because now you're manifesting this new success. Okay. And before it retrogrades back by Scorpio season and you reevaluate, this is the surreal feel of it all. And with Uranus in your first, the more unconventional you decide to express yourself, trust me, the better. So, Gemini, this is, of course, your 12th house transit. And what's manifesting is a grounded sense of spiritual beliefs that, similar to Aries, will have you have more faith in your value like never before, especially with all the 8th house Pluto energy. The psychological passive aggressive tactics that were mainly used to mess with your mind are being more exposed than ever and are all part and parcel to you taking more of your power back than ever. Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Pisces, this month, over the next 6 months, you are experiencing the shifting of power dynamics in your relationships with other people in ways that will be so uncomfortable to those other people. You're going to see literal demons take over their psyche, because for so long they were able to remain passive aggressive and in the shadows. But because of the way you're taking your power back, now they're going to need physical presence to reinstate that nature of deception. And when they realize once and for all that they're not going to be able to, because you have forever switched these power dynamics, and let me make this clear, the whole purpose of this psychological passive aggressive mind game against y'all was to deter you against what you are doing. It was from the get-go a way to discourage you along your path. But mama didn't raise no bitch. And so as magicians, you kept moving forward, you kept pushing forward these perspectives, and you have struck your personal oil. And because those people or influences didn't know what to expect, they didn't know what you were doing, they didn't expect the power dynamics to flip, 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 flip. And so this is where, with the mutable signs, this Taurus season is either 9th house to you, 12th house to you, 6th house to you, 12th house to you. The same passive aggressive psychological manipulative tactics that never worked before, but they had the luxury of pretending it does. Now they don't have that foundation. You done took all your power back. And so it's like a smack in the face, where now they're left with nothing because those tactics never worked. Seriously, like the way people treat you after this season will be night and day, because they will have no other choice but to recognize, like, now them not recognizing the value you have works against them. Whereas before they could live in whatever illusion. Okay, this is huge. This is huge. They indirectly always work in your favor. And Gemini especially, because you're now experiencing the physical body language unconscious changes in how much more natural you feel about yourself and believing yourself based off physical proof you're manifesting. As Mercury comes into your sign, the way you communicate yourself will be brilliant and magic. But a lot of what I'm saying in this vein applies really to all the mutable signs. It's just the perspective will be different. Like if you're Sagittarius, you're seeing this more practically in your lifestyle, whereas Gemini, this is going to be more conceptual for you. Okay. The Uranus eclipse in your 12th is unlocking the transformation of your entire lifestyle and behavior to manifest a brand new spiritual path. So this is going to make real the supernatural for a lot of you angels. And that's why the synchronization process was so key, because it's manifesting on part of your physical ability to process all of this cosmic, celestial, supernatural phenomenon information. Okay. The coolest thing about this is Venus, Jupiter, and Mars are coming out of your 10th house and going into your 11th. So you're coming into a complete divine, miraculous manifestation of your dream job, of what you're meant to do in this life. I want you to think, for example, Kanye West. If you think about his success and his dream being made real, getting at our dreams, that is personifying the 10th house Pisces with his Pisces moon. So all Geminis are going through this as well, where we're breaking through out of the collective fog, gossip, and negativity that with the square has been affecting Sagittarius and Gemini, and carving through success that has never been seen before. And so with Venus and Jupiter coming into the 11th, that's rewards from career. And that is now friendships that align with the level of authenticity with which you communicate truthfully. And Saturn in the 9th, that's squaring the 12th, is important because it's the knowledge of this philosophy and the cosmic higher knowledge that you're integrating practically into how to live physically. Okay. Because this 12th house axis is going to fundamentally provide the foundation to change how much more you become the angel you've always been, Gemini. And this is going to be clutch. Remember, angels have a war with demons and demon possessed people. So you're going to have a lot of people reveal their true colors more so now that it's just more plain they can't manipulate. Like like whatever plans people had, it's not working. And this applies to Virgo and Sag and Pisces too. So just keep that in mind. Especially with Jupiter coming into your 11th with Venus, like this could be invitations that bring very quickly a lot of rewards. Okay, so look forward to that. A lot of you Gemini are going to manifest their dream. Cancer. Taurus is your 11th house. So we're moving forward with the rewards from career. Cancer, people throw shade on y'all for real. So like, oh my God. So like, the theme of the first 4 zodiac signs is breaking out in your autonomy from the leverage that the collective tried to play against you. And this is making y'all super controversial because Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer now have manifested their own individual means to stand on their own with Uranus and Taurus. So that's literally shifting power dynamics. Okay. Now, these people can make a video and it can go viral without the need for any mainstream support. This is such an important concept. So this is fundamentally changing the way people approach y'all. Now, people who felt they could take you for granted can't, because you can say one thing and it can influence their standing. Now people are going to realize they might have to kiss ass to you, especially you, Cancer, because your 10th house is getting ready to get all the way activated. So just like Leo is manifesting career success and Gemini has the 10th house Pisces, you have the 10th house Aries. Venus going into your 10th and Jupiter coming into your 10th post eclipse is going to blast open your career. And see, Cancer is gangster for this reason, because their 10th house is Aries. So they're warriors when it comes to coming into their own success. They will beat out anybody. This is where they'll get selfish, because Cancer sees how y'all try and play them, project on them, gaslight them. And it's not a victim mechanism, but it's really just to speak of the respect they command, because you're putting the god of war in charge of the 10, so they gonna get theirs. And not only that, the Aries notion of this means that the way you come into success is individually defined. It's based on you and you alone. Venus coming through here literally polishes your ability to come into opportunities because you're seen in such a brighter light. But Jupiter expands those opportunities to the next level. And so many of you are going to start getting your flowers like never before. This is the period to put yourself out there over the rest of the spring and the summer, especially because Mars, with this coming out with Neptune in your ninth, is fundamentally evolving your capacity through your third eye to see into the unseen. Remember, Cancer, you're the high priestess. So ninth house Pisces is your ability to ninth house see what? The metaphysical, Pisces. You teach people the heightened philosophy of vibes because you represent psychic emotions, the awareness of the subtle psychic vibrations that are functioned through feelings, connect us through other realms of existence, and tap us psychically with our intuition through that which we can't see physically. And relative to the upgrades you've gone through, your ability to discern this psychically with others is substantially so much more advanced than it ever used to be. So Saturn in your 8th house is having you draw hardcore boundaries. And the lesson here with Saturn in your 8th squaring Taurus in your 11th is, who can you trust in your social circle of friends? Because this eclipse in your 11th house is having you manifest grounded individuals that will help you manifest success from your career. This could be in the form of wealthy friends. This could be in the form of communities you manifest yourself. This, like a team, right? 11th house is your team. So you are using your pure 5th house talents and everything that you love as a resource with the South Node in Scorpio to manifest as a part of a team you individually manifest. It's like being part of a basketball team. Huge. If you can't trust the right people with Saturn in the 8th, they're not going to make it to the 11th house. So that's the challenge here. You have to discern based off of what you know about the collective and what they know about you, what it is you psychoanalyze on part of other people. Because Pluto in your 7th still makes relationships with others super dangerous if they're impure. So you don't really, like more than most other people, have room to kind of play around with this at all. Okay. And as Mercury comes into your 12th, this will, as it retrogrades out of Gemini, reevaluate newly defined spiritual beliefs coming in this Gemini season that will change the way you feel about yourself. So next we have, interesting. So next we have Leo. And with Leo, Taurus is, of course, your 10th house. I'm very excited for Leo and Leo rising because this is going to, I think, for some of you, catapult you into more fame. To me, this is less of a fame thing and more of a success, cha-ching, money thing, to be completely honest. So, but because of the Uranian quality of this, many of you are going to find a platform that your career was on suddenly get popping, especially for those of you who've been working on anything self-employed. Like the, Leo rising and Leo was one of those signs that I was seeing this like, wow, this is a game changer for y'all. Because if you think about how monopolies are run, what makes a monopoly is that nothing else can compete with it. And y'all are the king of the jungle, right? So like, if you have nothing else that can compete with what you're contributing, then that means everyone who purchases from you has to purchase from you, and you can control that industry. There are antitrust laws based off this concept. So Uranus in your 10th means that you're manifesting an individual Taurus legacy, 10th house. The career you're manifesting with Uranus is something that's never been done. So even if you're in the same field as someone, the way you're doing it can't be copied because it's centered around your own persona. Only you can do it. And you're cultivating something that people will only go for you. So that means you're making a monopoly, Leo. And this is going to get you so much money. I really do feel like this eclipse is going to manifest unexpected windfalls of income. Okay. Especially for those of you who are investing in crypto or finding ways to maneuver this unconventionally, it's really going to influence primarily how much more powerfully you also once again tap into all this power. And on top of that, with Neptune and Mars and Venus in your 8th, Jupiter has been evolving the level of boundaries with which you operate with. And once again, more who you can trust. And Pisces is kind of dangerous because there's no boundaries with Pisces. So you have to make sure the critical perspectives you manifest put in check the beliefs people are kind of influencing you with. The challenge here, of course, is with your 7th house opposition. This is why people are throwing shade at you more, but it's strengthening your character and it's raising the standards with who you partner with, because that square to the 10th is going to challenge who are you bringing in, who are you servicing, because the more people you deal with in the 7th, the more of them will invest in your 10th house. And it's even deeper than that too, because this will let you know, if you think of Saturn as a bodyguard, who you take with you to the top. Like it's really, it's really as simple as that. And as Mercury goes into the 11th house, you will begin to slowly but surely through Gemini manifest the results of that career, which for you will be a change in your mind now that you've seen the success you've manifested. It's going to change how you communicate it. And for many of you, I think this is going to be a lifelong breakthrough. Pluto is transforming at the last degrees your lifestyle to bring in more of this lifestyle of luxury. Leo, with Saturn in the 7th, you have people saying things to you that they think are hurtful, but they're being weak little bitches. So like they have to feel it's hurtful to you because they have to feel better than you, but you don't even care. Like the whole time you're like, oh, you're adorable. So like you're breaking through that weird, like I don't know if it's more so a social current or investment, but like you're breaking through that to the point where people in that 8th will see more that it doesn't affect you, that it's just an illusion they're placing. And this is going to be presented in how much more boldly you present in person, okay? Especially with this 8th house energy, and this applies to all the signs. You have a lot of people who are projecting energy in the way they feel and think about you, versus when you see them in person and cognitive dissonance, it doesn't match. They can't do that to you in person, okay? So that's going to really change the game. Like I promise you, like this is where things are really going to show up physically in Taurus, where regardless what people think and feel, you didn't do that in person with me. Okay, like huge, huge. Next, we have Virgo. And this is interesting because Taurus in your 9th house is putting you in a position to take the resources of your attitude and your pure skill sets in Scorpio to begin to teach people what you've learned, because you have solid values and practical, tangible value that many of you can use on this foundation to create courses. Some of you can teach how to invest money through crypto. Some of you, this is going to open up an unconventional higher education course. Some of you with this could probably get into a master's program or a PhD program. Okay. It doesn't have to be tied to school, especially with Uranus. It's going to be online or it's going to be something different. But the whole notion of this is taking skills you've learned that you're ready to teach. So, this third ninth house axis of learning to teaching represents this genius state of how you've mastered certain abilities in a way that you can condense and ground so much more practically. So Mercury coming into the 10th will instantly find new ideas to monetize and attach to your career this philosophy. We do have a lot of Mars, Venus, and Jupiter in your 7th. So Neptune in your 7th is you dealing with delusion in your relationships with others. But in the case where there is integrity, divinity, okay, as it's opening up divine partnerships, and Pluto in your 5th is transforming the quality of how much more intensely you pour into everything that you love doing. Mars and Jupiter and Venus in your 7th is evolving how through relationships with others, these new cycles in your partnerships change your entire life. And this is a double-edged sword in a way, because if you allow the wrong influences to change your life, then it will reflect the poor boundaries you drew through Aries season. So by the time Jupiter and Venus go into Aries, it's going to blow up and skyrocket how much more people you're dealing with and are attracted to you. So on the Virgo end, the power dynamics that you're shifting are shifting because certain skill sets that you may have been criticized for learning, you're now ready to show the collective that they never knew what they were talking about, and that you have practical means of utilizing skill sets people thought were just in your head, especially if you think psychology. So Saturn that squares us in the 6th are the advanced techniques in your behavior that allow you to integrate in your own lifestyle this philosophy you are grounding practically. It's the living definition of a reality hack. And I feel like since February of last year, you're coming around to teach and show people, hey, this is how I hacked my reality. This is how I mastered my reality. Okay. So next we have Libra. Taurus is, of course, your 8th house. And I keep on seeing Libras kill the crypto game. Like y'all, I didn't realize how much of that has to do with Uranus in your 8th, because y'all are innovating the grounded structures with which you can invest all this pure energy you have. If we didn't even bring in money into the equation, you're pipelining pure value into natural investments. And this is having you be a total gangster in how you draw boundaries with others, because it's your physical assets at stake here. And there's a very genius method with which you're able to analyze real time what assets are valuable to invest in and who individually is worth investing in, and how to multiply that income over time or quickly, especially with all this 6th house magic in Pisces. With Neptune, you are fundamentally making the dream real. Like you are living the dream Pisces life, 6th house. And this is fundamentally drawing in astrally from the astral realm and your intuition of your imagination, anything you imagine, into your real life. And I'm going to say that again. You're finding more than ever that everything you imagine, you're creatively able to make a part of your real life. There is a supernatural element to this where you literally can imagine the day you want to live and it happens. You are now drawing in the supernatural into the formation of your actual day and behavior. So Venus and Mars is coloring in the lines that Saturn will strengthen as this goes through, but set through Aquarius. And Jupiter, as soon as it goes into your seventh, will Venus, is so important because everything that you're rounding about your sixth is evolving your behavior so that once it goes into the seventh, you integrate this evolution of how much more divine your life is with other people so that you can support a divine life with these people. In the event that they can't because they're incompetent or thoroughly inauthentic, they're not going to be able to mix with your life. So this is huge because Taurus season in the eighth house of other people is having you get ready to transform and bridge the gap of how you're ready to evolve your relationships with other people because you have already evolved your lifestyle. Transits like this are more important than others because the sixth house is integrating 6 years worth of evolution. And with Pluto in your fourth, the home life is messy. It's extreme. It doesn't have to be messy, but it's extreme. There's construction being done. It's unearthing a lot of what was hidden and it's exposing what you need to see so that as you build your partnerships, you know how much more to navigate with these partnerships, private elements of your life. But Libra, this is going to open the doorway for so much more self-employment and wealth to bless you. Everything that you establish and sow the seeds for, the investments you make by Scorpio season in your finance house, you have returns. Like you're balling. You're balling more than you're already balling. And I'm talking about in terms of initial investments. Okay. So, yeah, or even any more, investments coming from there. All right. And the beautiful thing about this is there's so much perception. Like criticism is cute, but like all of that falls null and void in the face of results that is going to shut a lot of people up because you have receipts, Libra. You didn't go out your way to prove to people what they were criticizing you for. You had receipts and you just kept piling them up. You have a receipt for every criticism. And this is going to change the game. Shout out to Libra Rising. This is more for Libra Rising too than Sun. So Scorpio, this is, I would say you're one of the most important signs this season because first of all, you got the South Node. So Scorpio Rising, Scorpio Suns, you are bringing forth the wisdom of your transformation directly to relationships you feel are worth your royal essence because you're bringing the sauce to every relationship and this is going to transform everything. The other equation of this is value being brought to you to match your sauce because the partnerships formed dynamically here will change the whole fucking game. And it's not only going to change the game, it's going to manifest the completion of yourself through another and the development thereof. Because with Uranus in your seventh, it's bringing in unconventional characters and individuals into your life that will now strengthen the relationships you have through how innovative you connect with others in relationships. And this has a lot to do with how you use your psychic abilities and your incredible skills with these people. Because Pluto in the third has been systematically transforming how much more powerfully you express your attitude, how much more extremely you share your ideas, whether through your body language or through this subtle sense of psychic mind control that you swear other people don't know that you do because other people really don't know that you do it. Like they're clueless. Okay. And so Mercury, as soon as it comes out the seventh and goes into Gemini in the eighth, will have you already coming up with ideas of how much with the way you communicate to bridge the gap intimately with people and really hear secret. Like people are going to be snitching to you more than ever. They're not going to know they're snitching to you, Scorpio, but this is, or Scorpio rising, but it's so very important because the way that you're judging this has a lot to do with Saturn in the fourth, the inner value or the inner test, let's say, of who you feel comfortable with this gold mine within. Because Saturn in the fourth is the cosmic home. It's securing work from home opportunity for some of you, and it's solidifying more of your assets within your family. But square the seventh, you may find limitations from family or who you trust or not block how much more powerfully you connect with relationships. Especially if some of you don't feel comfortable with introducing certain people into private aspects of your life. Really, what this is doing is it's changing the whole game to bring more of the influence to you. Because Saturn is supposed to be in the 10th, where you go out into the world to come into success. But actually, no, now people are coming to where you privately are to do that. It's changing the game. And not only is it really changing the game, Neptune in your fifth, with Jupiter in your fifth and Venus in your fifth, based off of this fourth house foundation, is having you evolve your inner child. Fifth house transits, if you're a YouTuber or content creator, increase your subscriber base. This is a chance for you to dive deeper into your creative work. Scorpio creatives and Scorpio rising creatives may put out some of the best music they've ever put out during this period, because this is, with Mars and Venus especially, generating so much love and divine creativity towards how much more you take your talents to the next level. So for those of you who do graphic design, you're taking it to the next level. And as Venus goes into Jupiter Aries with Jupiter, you're extending forth this creativity to now implement as a part of your lifestyle, and how creatively you can monetize and make a job of this, or influence how original your behavior is becoming. So keep that in mind, because the Saturn square will really influence how much more you're getting ready to integrate this innovation individually with other people. But I'm speaking to you, Scorpio. So this really has a lot to do with all this super psych, like your super psychic evolution of powers is bearing down towards the controversial. It's different for Taurus. We're awakening superpowers. But Scorpio, your lesson is, how controversial is it for me to use my mind reading control powers on other people? Uranus is now in the seventh house of other people. So Saturn in the fourth is, what's ethical? Like, can I use my psychological mind reading powers to allure people to talk to me? Is it right? Is it wrong? And Scorpio, y'all are dark lords. You don't care if it's right or wrong. But like, this is having you actually see firsthand the nature of how incredibly you manifest other people with this. And you're having to redefine what's controversial and what's not controversial. And Scorpio is making babies. Fifth house axis like this is extremely fertile for you. So this can open up romance. And with the seventh house eclipse, some of you are going to manifest relationships with people that will be significant over the next 10 years. Even if you think they might just be more casual, be very mindful of who you're talking to around this period. Sagittarius, as we enter the last four zodiac signs and step into the collectives, you'll find that Scorpios are master spellcasters. You'll find that this is now taking your collective essence. Wow. This is now taking your collective essence, and it's now grounding individually how much more tangibly you're able to harness this outside of just the concept that you see, and more now something you can touch and control. Ooh, that sounded weird. So Taurus is your sixth house, okay? And the Sagittarius rising and Sagittarius, there's something about Uranus in your sixth that I've had the biggest theory about, that I feel like unless you're a Sagittarius, it's gonna sound like science fiction. All Sagittarians are living the sci-fi lifestyle because Uranus in your sixth, if you think that Sagittarius is creation from nothing, is having you manifest elements of your lifestyle like that. You literally can wake up and be like, I'm gonna make $500 today. And like that, you make around there. It's just 500 is lowballing. Y'all deal with, y'all got second house Capricorn. So y'all make like thousands to 10,000s a day. The thing here is, and this doesn't have to be just money, this could be also physical strength. The way you're innovating and pimping the lifestyles of yourselves and others is literally manifesting real life reality hacks that people don't even believe. Like, you're saying elements of your day, and the only reason why people believe you is because you wild like that. Like, people already know you ascended, but like, this is so that you can serve other people. This is where the collective signs, a lot of what you're servicing isn't for you. You don't need it. You're ascended masters. You're servicing us. You're hooking up so many fucking people. So Uranus in the sixth is pimp my lifestyle. I really feel like you're individually pimping people's lifestyles. You're able, like if you're a weight trainer, you're able to have somebody come into a six pack within months, not doing any shortcuts, but by implementing reality hacks and genius methods of your behavior that hyper manifest what you're doing. Because Pluto in the second is continuing to awaken your finances to such an extreme level that Uranus trining this in the sixth radically innovates the notion of how practically you can tangibly manifest the integration of this unconventional nature of how you make money and of how you bring all this to fruition. And the reason why it's so hard for me to put into words is because you're doing this supernaturally. You're literally visualizing it, you're imagining it with Neptune in your fourth, and it just literally becomes. That's my theory with the Sagittarius. Like Gemini, like I know this is real because as a Gemini, as the baby spirit, I'm doing like I with Uranus in my 12th, I imagined a bike. Like I went on a walk. It started off with me seeing a bike. I was like, I'm going to get a bike. Like I made the decision, like, I'm going to get a bike. And then 10 minutes later, as I walked back, you saw that live, I have a bike. Like somebody walked on a bike and was like, hey, do you want to buy this bike? That was hyper manifestation. So the only difference is we're enlightened. Sag is ascended. Whereas I went on that whole walk, as soon as you're visualizing it, it's materializing. It's at that level, which makes sense because y'all are the gods. So it makes sense that gods can just do that. It's just your ability to now harness this magic physically with your vessel is super natural. That Mike bike story is one of my favorite stories right now. It's so funny. It's so magical. And with Neptune in your fourth, this is that astral realm home activity that, like similar to Virgo, is having you be aware simultaneously of the astral realm overlapped in this real world. Kind of like the ancient one, whose astral form was literally just right overlap with the real world. Sag can actually see that. Y'all can actually see that. So Mercury is having you process your brain's ability. And this is what I love about Sagittarius transits right now. Saturn in your third is anchoring advanced skill sets in how much stronger you communicate all of this. The advanced skill sets that you're learning are at a more conceptual level. And you're learning how to integrate that innovated in your real life. So you're learning something conceptually, but Taurus is having you integrate that for real. You're mastering it as a part of your lifestyle. This Taurus season is the extension of February 2021, where you evolve these skills to where now you're getting ready to actually integrate that more realistically than ever. Than ever. I want to stress that third house, sixth house square is so important because Saturn's strength of your neural pathways is what is binding how real you make this as a part of your life. And this is what's it's superior. This is why I stand over the last four signs. Like y'all are like next level, literally. I watch a lot of anime, so it's like y'all are like. But other than that, Jupiter coming into your fifth with Venus coming into your fifth is getting ready to, similar to Scorpio, empower you with so many of you are going to be so inspired with new creativity. The science behind that, the reason why the fifth house is creative is you have a home fosters creativity. I have to feel comfortable in my home space before I can get creative and really do what I love. So the fourth house transit segues that. Once we have our inner world, we can, based on that, create. We can, based on that, date other people. We can get romantic and do stuff we love with other people. So you, with this fourth house Pisces magic, are understanding more than ever the supernatural, extra dimensional, out of this realm aspect of your home. Segue to Virgo, which is very real, career success. But the imaginative space with which you can astral travel to any realm within your soul. This is what's going to inspire new personification with your inner child. Remember, Chiron is in your fifth house. So you've been healing your inner child. And the South Node in your 12th is unlocking the occult, hidden nature of your spiritual beliefs. See, a lot of people don't know that about Sagittarius because they hide it. They hide it a lot. Sagittarius got some secret sauce. Sagittarius has occult beliefs that work for them. They're just not going to tell you because they Illuminati. It doesn't even have to be Illuminati, but like, this is hidden techniques. This is secret sauce. This is the secret recipe. You're unlocking this hidden occult nature of your beliefs to manifest practically as a part of your lifestyle. So, like, remember, this is just like third house Aquarius. Conceptual, intangible values as a part of how you live are now practically manifesting to where now it's real in the most innovative ways. It's opposite Gemini that's manifesting their spiritual path. You're using your spiritual path as a resource to manifest a lifestyle with which you can serve others practically. So it's not just a belief. All right, I'll be quiet about the sauce. All right, so next and of course, this is very important because once Mercury goes into Gemini, you're communicating this to other people. You're getting ready to now integrate this grounded nature of your behavior truthfully to other people. Capricorn, this is the bag. And not only is this the bag, you love money. I'm sorry. You love value because Capricorn is spending power, but Taurus is actually the fixed income. Like Taurus is actually the money in your bank. Capricorn is spending money in action, the power function of spending money. But the money you have in your bank fixed is Taurus. And Capricorn, you love money. Like you love value, you love money. You love value, okay? So Taurus in the fifth house is self-employment too, because you're manifesting this level of value in a practical, productive, yet creative way that gets you more paid. And this is also you grounding the value of your knowledge. The most important transit for you, Cap, is Saturn in your second house. First of all, it's your ruler. Second of all, this is getting you money. It is strengthening the network that Jupiter evolved last year. And so you're securing your finances over the next 30 years with this to make sure you're weeding out in your network those who lack integrity and are virtually useless to you, down to Aquarius also being virtual and digital. So this is important because this is strengthening your self-esteem. You manifest knowledge, Capricorn. And the square to the fifth to Uranus is how is your value influencing how much more creatively you manifest what projects you're manifesting and bearing fruit. So this will open up self-employed means of income. This will open up creative projects. It can even open up romance in a very grounded, practical way. Maybe you could work with a love interest or do some kind of money-making project. Doesn't even have to make money. Could just be practical. As all of this integrating into your sixth will now enlighten you into new ideas with which you can take these creative means of manifesting money and make a living off of them. That second to fifth house square is very important, though, because this is going to take into account how much more you can strengthen your creativity using the resources of your group dynamics and the friends who support you to support your individual contributions to the collective. So the fifth house to the 11th house, like Cancer, they're using their talents to be a part of a team. Capricorn, you're using your team to invest in your talents. So very important. This is you manifesting the network through Saturn and Aquarius so that all the people who you've met since North Node in Scorpio can now support what you're manifesting. So powerful, especially because with Pluto in the first, you're still awakening people, but spiritually rich too. Yep. You're still awakening. You're still transforming your sense of self. And Jupiter coming out your third is evolving your divine skills and abilities. So by the time Venus and Jupiter going your fourth, you're paving through new identity and how much more authentically you can live in your home. Some of you may be moving during this period as well. Aquarius, speaking of moving, we know that Uranus and Taurus is your fourth house. So this can actually simulate a move. This could simulate plans to move. This could be innovating your inner space. Aquarius, I truly see this as you landing your spaceship. And not only is this you landing your spaceship, it's effectively putting you in a position like never before to realistically, open up so much of your own power and your own value. And the reason why you really want to embrace this is because representing this cosmic knowledge, you are out of this world. So the fourth house in Taurus is the grounded foundation upon which, as an individual, you can ground these advanced concepts in bite-sized nuggets with which you can now connect with other people. The key here is the South Node in your 10th house. When the South Node went through my 10th house, I manifested career success, 10th house, so that I can North Node 4th house buy a new place or apartment with that career success. So this is going to transform the unlocking of your reputation and career success to ground an innovative foundation, because Aquarius, your representation of community will have you play this through by innovating home spaces. Many of you may feel like you don't want to live in a home. Maybe some of you want to live on the road. Maybe some of you are realizing that the reason why people live in homes is because of, based in the 50s and before, bankers that wanted to convince people that that's what you do because that was the only way to give out loans to people. So now you're realizing, wait, maybe I'm meant to pioneer a new way to live. Maybe we're not meant to live in just homes, nuclear family homes like this. Maybe we're meant to build more sustainable communities. You know what I mean? Aquarians are leading the charge on that. And Neptune in your second is having you manifest supernaturally based on your imagination. So Jupiter, which has been evolving your finances, could use innovative means by crypto or your own supernatural abilities, okay, with Venus and Mars to focus a lot of this assertion towards evolving your self-esteem and what you're worth. but this is Pisces. So this is not linear at all. You can imagine it and it's happening. Y'all are the celestials. So this is celestial grade ability. And if Sagittarius can do what they do, I know I know y'all do that. Okay. I know this is a fact, by the way, because as a Taurus rising, I wrote down on a piece of paper a specific dollar amount and it's come to me. I have communicated to Jupiter a specific dollar amount and it's come to me in less than 30 minutes. So I know you're at the highest level of this. You can imagine it. It happens. You're not fooling no one. Aquarius, like y'all, yeah, thank you. Like y'all got the most magical second house of all time. You're not fooling nobody. Y'all the narrators. You write it down, it starts happening in the collective. Okay, so like we see you, and you got Saturn in your first house too. So this is just strengthening how much more powerfully you develop the authority and responsibility around who you are and how much more seriously the consequence of what you say to people is. Because as Venus goes into your third, as Jupiter goes into your third, this is going to evolve how much more original your ideas are and how much more recklessly you can get away with saying what you're saying, because Venus will add this filter around what you say so that people love more what you say. It's unfair, but it's awesome. It's not unfair to you, but yeah. And then Mercury is going to come out of your fourth house and instantly start to inspire creative ideas with Gemini that allows you to flow your thoughts freely. But Pluto in your 12th house is really the challenge here. No problem, Flight Rights. Pluto in the 12th is making sure you don't let the hidden enemies, as far as like collectives and corporations and government spies who are really watching you because they know you're an alien, really get in the way of your self-esteem. And I'm not being sarcastic either. Like once we step past Aquarius, it's crazy shit like that. Like a lot of y'all think you're paranoid. You're not. You're celestial god/goddess. So like you got eyes on you. But please don't think they're not watching you. Like they watching you. They know that you can go viral in 2 months and influence whole collectives of people. You think they don't got a file on you? Come on now. So here's the thing. This is also awakening the incredible nature of your supernatural power. For how tangibly it connects with the fourth house understanding of your celestial understanding of your celestial influence over reality. X-Files. Aquarius, y'all X-Files AF. Some of you work directly with Orishas, gods and goddesses. Like it's not a game. Your vibration is so high, they respond to you quicker than any other sign. And they talk to you, buddy. For real. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That's how it works. So keep that in mind, because the way you define how to lead this new age of Aquarius, it starts with you. And this is y'all stepping more into less of the concept of yourself and more into the reality of how you ground this through the fourth. And last but not least, we do have Pisces. Pisces, you have the South Node in your 9th house of philosophy. And this is grounding in your 3rd house of attitude. This is very important because the 9th 3rd house pipeline is similar to Virgo, where a lot of you are going to be teaching what you've learned, but you're taking the depth of psychological wisdom that constitutes how woke your philosophy is, and you're grounding bite-sized nuggets of wisdom with which you can teach and ground to people. This is so very key, because when the North Node is in the 3rd, you have to speak up about things that have to be communicated. This is why, like Colby, some of you have to get your book writing on. You have to share your ideas. They're going to innovate and blow people's fucking minds. Even in the conversations you're having with people, y'all are walking divine magic. Technically, you're walking fantasy. So people just need to really see you, and the synchronicities will just blow out. And here's the thing, because with a lot of Saturn in the 12th, many of you are doubting yourself unreasonably. Like, you got the motherfucking juice and the sauce, but you're still doubting yourself. And a lot of this doubt you haven't realized isn't you. A lot of this doubt is subconscious collective garbage that's projected on you, and as an anchor holds you back because you truly believe you need to depend on that. Consciously, you may be like, I don't care about other people's opinions, but subconsciously you do. So you need to let that go, because the whole collective can suck your fishy dick. Like, that's what people are about to understand, y'all. Like, this Taurus season is manifesting y'all attitude. It doesn't have to be negative, but you're manifesting an attitude. You're manifesting an attitude that sounds like, you bitches try to play me like I was some delusional fish tard, but I'm the most magical fishy in this bitch. And like, it is what it is. Like, you walking with a swag now. Like, look, bitch, I'm the first thing. Like, imagine Riri talking with that swag. Like, bitch, I'm a billionaire and Barbados. The whole of Barbados fucks with me, bitch. Like, Rihanna can talk with that swag now more than ever. She already could. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Pisces is walking around with their bag. You feel me? Like, they the legends now. It's like, look, y'all last 10 years can't even compete with my first 2 months. Like, Taurus, Pisces gonna be talking with an attitude, y'all, because they can back it up instantly. They got Uranus in their third. Like, oh, you don't believe me? Wiggity woo, waggity boo, boom. And then they just do a magic spell like that. People be like, what the heck is wiggity woo? Whoa! Like, so listen, Pisces, like, all of this is based on Chiron in your second. You are healing how originally you tap into your value. You're not letting people play with you anymore on what you're worth, because before they could, y'all were so advanced, you were saying shit that people couldn't understand. Now they starting to ride your wave. Now you can, like, it's not like they're now just starting to, but this key Chiron with this in your second is activating through Aries season your value, so you can manifest the attitude and the foundation. And a lot of this transformation of your philosophy is going to manifest such an unconventional attitude from you and the way you think, which will hyper manifest with every thought, to the point where you're saying things and it's happening moments later. And the synchronization happening around you with Neptune in your sign pulls people into you like a literal portal, and you're a literal genie. Pisces is going to be talking with an attitude because people can make wishes to you and it's going to happen. You're like, yeah, bitch, who wants my magic lamp? What's up? Like, it's going to change the game. You're going to have lines lining up like, yeah, I grant wishes. What's up? So, like, no, it's crazy. And Jupiter is going to go in your second. And as soon as it goes in your second with Venus, you're expanding your finances for the next few months, the next 6 months before it retrogrades back, and then you reevaluate how much more money you've made and what direction to take this manifestation in your finances. Changing the game. Okay. So, woo! We did it, y'all. We end Taurus season with cosmic enlightenment. Okay. Moon in Aqua, cosmic enlightenment, Sun, Mercury retrograde. By the time we step into Gemini season, ladies and gentlemen, you will be ready to communicate individually how much more value you have manifested. There's a sense of confidence that will manifest in your own physicality that you will begin to enlighten your mind with. The way you talk to other people will not be the same. Post this eclipse, Gemini season is going to be manifesting the experience of this new value. Butting in with a new Jupiter cycle, it'll really feel like a new Jupiter cycle, okay? So this is where post Taurus season, we step into this exponential crescendo of results, and things are going to be moving super fast. We literally start Gemini season off with Mercury in its dignity, sextile Jupiter. So this Taurus season is going to set you up for success and greatness. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we have worked so hard to awaken this next version of ourselves and practically bring into physicality value that will enable us to determine how much more we step into our sovereignty. Because square Saturn, this is going to change the game for you. You're not like some of you will not need to work a single job after this Taurus season. And so the question now moving forward is, now that you've reclaimed the sense of your power, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to let this success get to your head? Are you going to let the success humble you? Like, this is now the next phase of everything. This foundation is going to set fixed sign Taurus the tone for the next 6 months to 10 years. 6 months with the eclipse of Scorpio, 10 years with the North Node coming around back to Scorpio. So everything you go through this Taurus season will be fated. You're going to manifest the relationships, the romantic partnerships, the friendships, the career success that you are destined to. Don't get so caught up on what you want it to look like. Let the North Node speak to you, because more than ever, during this kind of portal we go through as we walk through the promised land, this is going to establish the change that we're going to facilitate coming out of 2022 into the beginning of the end 2023. And most importantly, with that Pisces sextile, my friends, many of you are going to manifest success you've been wanting to manifest your whole life. That's my promise. So the promised land is pre-success, post-success. Every day is success. So it's not just like one major success, but this is this huge lump sum 12-month cycle worth of success that with Jupiter and Aries, we're starting a new cycle with. So this is you starting that new cycle, manifesting the fullness of the next version of yourself. Whew. Thank you guys so much. Your feedback is truly amazing. Okay. Please feel free to comment on the video your testimonials. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this webinar. Once again, how did you like the format? Do you want me to stick to this format? I'm going to be adding different elements by Gemini season. I think we'll have another slide function. We'll see. But at the very least, this will be the base. This will be the default format we'll do. So at the very least, it's still super informative. We go through the transits. We go through the signs. I wanted to make sure we went in. Like, this is 3 hours. Do you believe 3 hours is worth $24.99? You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure you're getting what you paid for. Will we be able to rewatch this? Absolutely. The link will be available as long as this YouTube channel is available. So granted, they don't take it down. You will always be able to watch this link. And I'm also taking steps to download this. So in the event that I'm able to share it, you can also get the file. But regardless, you will be able to watch this replay whenever you want. What I recommend is that you find a website that allows you to download this video so that you can keep the MP4 if you want to keep it. Other than that, I'm going to keep it up. Once again, thank you so much for investing in me. Thank you so much for investing in this. I have huge plans moving forward. And my goal moving forward really is to just give back to y'all and find more creative ways to do that. So y'all stay blessed as always. And until next time, peace.